Good day, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
How goes it?
It goes and it is going.
It is going indeed.
It goes and it's going
Yes, yes.
all at the same time. And yourself.
How was your week, boy?
My week long.
That part.
Had a hold on there. Hold on there. Hold on there. Mute this bitch. All right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my week was long as well. What you do this week?
Uh, your song kind of fine. I ain't really hearing you. I don't know if it's my phone or what. My volume all the way up. Okay. Yes.
Let's see if can you hear me good?
I mean, I think this phone just. I think it's because I'm multitasking on the phone. That's why.
Think
Let me see something. Let me
can
just exit the multitask. I was cunt by.
trying to connect my AirPods to my laptop. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, hear me. Yeah.
And, so you were saying how was your week? Wait, wait, wait.
Wait. It's gone again. What the fuck going on here, buddy? Settings. Let me see. Audio. What's that? Say something?
You can hear me now?
Like you just sound like you whispering, G.
Yeah.
You sound like you whispering. I can hardly hear you. I know. Let me wait for some people to come in here and then you can ask them if they hear you because I can't hear you so clearly.
Somebody saying I have weird audio. Let me see. Let me check out the phone again.
And I don't want to put them in my headphones because if I put them in headphones and be dumb loud on your side.
I can hear me.
You sound the same. What about your microphone settings with like the noise cancellation and whatnot? Maybe one of those options you gotta check. You have muted yourself. At least from what I see in here on the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, now you're on mute.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, this one a little better. Yeah, a little better.
Okay. If anything, I'm gonna try something. If we go back again, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hearing you a little better now. Yeah.
All right. Well, you were saying, how was your? What you do this week?
Plenty work. Plenty strategizing. To get the best out of the rest of the year. Both in the 9 to 5 and with a lumberman. So it's I won't say stressful, but it was really like time consuming mentally.
Time consuming indeed.
Mentally,
That's
and trying to keep up to speed with all the nonsense that are going.
why. I hear you. I hear you.
So what's been good with your week?
My these last couple weeks been pretty long and heavy. I ain't gonna lie to you. Has to work and the whole cameraman get I am kind of shit. It's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a lot. It getting heavy, but Nipsey also say that if you really want to progress forward, it's supposed to certain feel like a certain burden. You know?
Yeah.
So
You don't make no gains if you can't feel the weight, you know.
yeah, yeah. So that's
You know,
why I
Ronnie Coleman is like to ball out lightweight. You understand?
lightweight.
Lightweight. Ah.
Yeah, and last night, actually without last night to this event there close by in Rotterdam, where it was just kind of like a formal. You dress formal, but it was like a normal like party, like it's party. A
Okay.
lot, like a lot of beautiful people dressed very beautifully. I ain't gonna lie, the man them outshine the girls them
Oh, scone body.
yo, what? Hey, man, we were outside. We were outside. I ain't gonna lie
Yeah,
to
we're
you.
outside.
It was a good event. A lot of beautiful people, beautiful vibes. DJs kill it. I got a footage there, so I gotta edit the video. A short video gonna do.
Okay. Oh, so you do like recording and pictures and thing there for them.
Yeah, I try to network there because seeing if we get land some new clients.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was a good vibes last night. I almost didn't go.
Mm.
Um, I was on the chair and I was saying, this party might not sing, because I want both. Like I want
Yeah, 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 yeah.
sleep, dog. But I end up going and I meet up with some friends that I ain't expect to meet up with there too. It was good. It was good vibes. You know who I meet up? I bump into. You remember Delano?
Talpana?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember Delano had a cousin that was a little crazy, like wacky,
Yeah, the
really.
dude that was also tall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
him?
Yeah, yeah.
Jelano? I can't. Jelani, some fuck dog. I
I
can't
can't remember
really.
his name.
He was there.
What?
Yeah, he used to ball, right? He used to
Yeah,
ball
he's
real good.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He was there. He was there, dog. It was good vibes, dog. I bumped into people I ain't seen in years.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, man, yeah, man.
How he
But
doing? He look a little less wacky.
no,
He still got that crazy look on his face.
he more wacky. He louder.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah, yeah. He ain't changed at all. If anything, what was there, what we know, has amplified.
Christus.
Yeah, boy. Ooh, this is good tea. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Can't go wrong with some tea.
So yeah, it was good vibes. I kind of looking forward to editing the video. I ain't started yet. Cause I taking a day off. I ain't even went gym, so it's really if I ain't went gym. I tired.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I tired. But yeah, my weekend was good thus far. Jack. So what we want to talk about today, boy? I feel a little bit of a wing it type of energy.
But well, we had some topics there in the IG chat. That could keep us company there. Until the young man arrive.
Let's see if I could find that chat. Going.
He said he was going to pull in about 10 minutes.
Trying to find the chat. Why I can't find the chat? Anyway, what we're thinking about in the meantime, between time. I was thinking
Mm,
about since our guest that we're going to have here, we went to school with.
yeah.
So it made me think of two things. Number one, we officially old.
I know this long time. I don't know if it take now for you to realize, but I know this long time.
I'm really thinking now that the because the person that we're talking to and the description that he matches right now led me to realize, wow, we up there. Then I
Hmm.
started thinking about the time that all of us was in school together. That period of
Yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah,
the way how the flexes that was going on, the way we used to dress, the music that was out, the
yeah,
shit we used to do, places we used to go. That shit was
yeah.
That shit, oh, that shit was, I don't know, but
We was wilding that.
that shit was a lot of fun, though.
We was wilding. We was in American school, a lot of lawsuits, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I find it. I find it. No, but we didn't put anything inside. Not in the group chat. I did see something a couple weeks ago about the UFO bodies, like alien bodies in Mexico. Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd hear about that.
And Isha, yeah, we that old. Does not this. I did not find a great son, Dalia. I did not find a gray hair thus far. I ain't got no gray hairs yet. As far as I know. And nobody tell me about the person that is do my hair. He never tell me about any gray hairs. So as far as I know, I still you on the top. Knock on wood. Tobias in the building. Tobias. Why call him Tobias? Tobias in the building.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, Doug, you remember how? Oh God, when Tobias, Kerry, and Alex had the singing group.
Yeah. The man used to serenade the boards them.
Why? What? Like, Tobias, if you say here, you better say something.
But you know what used to kill it? You know what used to kill it for me, dog? These man used to be tugging by the canteen, but they want to sing R&B on top of the stage, dog.
Look, you know what the problem is? You know what the problem is that I come to realize now that we this far in the internet times, put it that way, that these R&B partners that were singing in the States, right? Jodeci, Boyz II Men, Tank, Genuine, Tyrese. They were thugging now. There wasn't no softies now.
But I know, but you see, it's like
No.
these man okay, is a whole different, how you say, perception, you know? You okay talking and then you coming inside talking about, yeah, if I don't make it home tonight and them kind of fuck that.
Yeah, they had to, they had to sing a certain way back in the day, when the real them was off stage, of course.
You know, you okay talking, but then you're singing, asking the board why she gotta act like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna lie. Two times or remember the times when Christmas show in MPC in high school was an actual event.
Yeah, that was an event. Okay, children from other schools used to want to break in with my school lad.
Yeah. Like Christmas show was it. Like it. That's when the times when they had that year, my first Christmas show. Oh, Cass was the DJ for our Christmas show.
Mhm.
And that was when the song Fuck You Sign from Elephant Man just dropped.
Yeah.
Just dropped.
I think that year was the last one that I went to.
I don't remember seeing you at any of them actually.
That was the last one I went to. Every one of them after I stay home sleep.
Then again, I didn't know you in my first year. I got to meet you in my third year or so.
Mm.
Second or third year is when I meet you. Oh. Like 2015, like 2005. Yeah.
Yeah, about that time.
I got my knockers.
So how everybody else in here doing?
How was everybody's week? Dude, you know what question we ain't asking a long time to our viewers are?
What was
What are
that?
you drinking?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You see, gang. You know, gang. This is the shit. Why are you drinking? That's a question we ain't asking a long time. I got my tea. Still, I was not lying. After Notting Hill Carnival, I
Yeah.
need
You
a break.
you detoxing.
I'm, yeah, I needed a break because I don't know what the fuck I was up on, but he was up
What
to
going
no
on
good.
with this man? But this man don't got no respect in the comment section, you know. What good with this man? I was in my house, fam. I was home.
Not the first year, not my
Yeah,
first
but
year.
we ain't talking about that.
What are you
We
talking
talking
about?
about we talking about the ones when I wasn't there.
Well, you know, I'm going to incriminate you. I'm going to incriminate. I'm going to just leave it there. I'm going to incriminate you. I'm going to just leave it there because I'm going to play the role of plausible deniability. I ain't seen nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I ain't seen nothing either.
I know you, but I ain't
Mm.
seen.
Hmm.
Yeah. Jack, what are we talking about? You tell me. What do you want us to talk about, Topias?
Yeah. What would you like to discuss, good sir?
I feel like I might regret that question. What do you want us to talk about? What are you want us to talk about? We do a viewer's choice in a while too.
A viewer's choice?
Yeah. You say yes, Seth. I'm gonna stop. Stop what?
Well, you say that you wasn't going to incriminate me, so I guess that's what he referring to.
Maybe. Maybe.
The young lady threw up the hat eyes.
For the Connopers. Gang,
Oh,
gang, gang. If you were a model, what brand would you want to be the face of? The face of. Oof. Um, I have two answers. One that's um hypothetical and also cap. I won't say gifted I am, but then again, I don't want to be the face of gifted I am either. Even though I am the face of gifted I am because it is mine. But if I could find a good ambassador for gifted I am, that'd be great. Anything else? Gymshark.
mm.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I would definitely want to be I would know I don't know about face of it, but I would definitely be a model for Gymshark.
Yeah, it was a good buy. Anyhow, for me personally, I don't have a brand really that I don't like. I not about brands and those things. But I will say that all my shoes from Nike, so probably Nike.
You see a bike accident happen over there?
When which one?
God, you said which one? Still happening that often?
Yeah, the one where the car that was overtaken.
That's most majority of the bike accidents that happen in Martin is when either the car or the bike overtake it. I really wish that I'm on the bike, right? Right, it doesn't seem like that sense of awareness of your actions comes with age. It don't come out that way to me.
Listen, you need to understand. Okay, That bike is life, dog. Right? That's what it is. Don't try to overthink it. That's how the man them that operate.
My thing is this: is like I understand the bike is life, but like how it is, you like bike is life, but then certain consequences that come with that life that affect other people, you still feel as if you could stand wrong and strong in whatever altercations that happen because of something you doing on your bike.
Because that is a part of bike is life, dog. That's a part of it.
But the two cars that overtake and the second one fuck man up.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. And saw a guy in there.
That's the main reason I would quicker get a bike here than in St. Martin. I'd never get a bike in St. Martin. From which celebrity would you take their fame away if you could? Their fame? Oh God. Let me see. You go first. I got this.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it would be fuck up. I think it would be fuck up to just boom the man them fame like that. I ain't really know who.
I'm gonna save that one. We're gonna save that for later. We're gonna save that one for later. We star that, star it.
He starred your message.
Start the message, darling. That's a good question. We're gonna get into that right after this interview. Listen, we have a special guest.
Yeah.
Yeah. This dude, he every time he see me on Instagram, he always got something to tell me. Something to tell me. You understand? To the point where just like he's the reason why I am so immaculate at ignoring people. You understand? He's the reason why I'm so good at it. You check?
Yeah.
But this I realized that now that he showed up ready for the interview, I just realized this is the first time on Drinks with the Fellas we're gonna have 3 partners Rastafari with locks.
3 Rastafari panda. What's gone by?
On the same screen at the same. Yeah. I know this dude for better half of a decade and a half.
Yeah.
This dude grew up both mentally and very much physically.
Yeah. Mr. Strongman himself.
This man went from MPC, living here in Holland, gone back with the passion to try and make some a better place from the perspective that I have in the San, which I admire. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Daryl York.
Big up yourself, strong man. Big up yourself.
Big up yourself, strong man.
One hell of an intro.
Very, very welcome.
Man, make me sound like a paparazzi self on Instagram.
Yeah, man, you're a superstar, man. You're our local superstar, you know.
He's a troll. He's a troll.
I see now you start wearing clothes on Instagram, so all the trolling helped.
See?
Wow, the man was policing your attire, dog.
He was making us look bad, you know. When we start getting older, we start getting the pot bellies, he start getting all the 6-pack, 8-pack and thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And then he start flexing on us, you know.
Okay, I feel you. We could work on that, man. We could work on that, and then all of us could be shirtless.
I know about all of that, but
you really want to listen to Mr. Big Dark, Big Lux Chocolate Thunder over here, partner? You listen to me?
Oh, you talking about Boja?
No, you.
Not me. Not me.
That lock just as long as mine.
I ain't no about that.
No, yours longer. Lumbo.
I ain't no about that.
Let's not be modest now. Okay.
Yeah, sip your drink.
Yeah, it's hot up here.
Yeah,
you got all the breeze. You talking about hot?
You're in the most clothing, so I want to hear shit.
Hot up here.
What's going on, fellas?
We there. We holding it down. Was waiting for you to arrive. Keeping yourself occupied.
Thank you. Thank you for
keeping ourselves occupied with all the viewers and everything.
Well, I ain't got a drink like that, but I drink water with it.
But it's
No,
water
this,
you drinking, you know.
this is tea.
Mm.
And yeah, I need a break. I need a break, dog.
You need a break? What time
Yeah,
it is over, but
6:35.
it's not like your day finishing. Okay.
Yeah. I need
Yeah,
a
yeah,
break.
yeah, yeah. His day coming to a close.
Yeah. After this, I boating. I gone. Like, yeah, expeditious.
Yacht boating or dinghy boating?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got company. All right then.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just saying that my bed is nice. That's all I say. My bed is nice. How are you doing, dog? You asking us how we doing? How are you doing, sir?
Bye. I doing good. Busy. You can ask you.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Busy,
Again, man,
busy,
yeah, yeah.
busy.
you taking up a
What?
task.
Sorry?
Taking up a task there.
Aside from about the task that's being taken up, normal life still continues. So you have two things going on at the same time. You know, that's a very underrated part in all of this. You still got to go work. You still have
They
your
didn't. They
regular
didn't put this in the
responsibilities.
brochure about adulting. You check. They didn't put it in the
Yeah,
brochure. You
yeah,
check.
yeah. You can't just drop a responsibility to pick up another one, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Just
So it's
adulting
just
season.
finding the balance. As things start to ramp up now, you find a balance between your regular responsibilities and the newly taken up responsibilities. So, but I've been going well. Can't complain so far.
Okay.
Can't complain so far.
So the- I have a question. What was our initial um you know what? No. There's a lot of people on this live that don't know who you is. Tell us exactly who you is, where you're
yes.
from.
Make them
How,
know who is Daryl York. Make them
how did
know.
you get
Explain to them.
how did you get to where you is now?
Well, Daroya went to MPC. Moved to Holland and very a lot of years ago. There people is so spent 12 years in Holland. Did my studies in Holland. Did civil engineering. Specialized in infrastructure management. Moved back down to St. Martin about a year and a half ago. Started working at Waywood Roads as a infrastructure supervisor. Since then, has taken a step over to tender engineer slash supervisor. So it's been a busy year at the company. Mother, the late Sherry York, the nurse. Grandfather, Sito York from Bushel area. And basically, yeah, like how Lincoln said, a decade and a half been around you guys. St. Martin to Holland to back to St. Martin. Well, Lincoln ain't
Yeah.
back yet. So so yeah, that's me a little bit. And since what it was, February, March, decided to throw my hat in the ring in this thing called politics, in the
Okay.
political
Okay.
arena.
What prompted this hat throwing?
Well, ja, Lincoln as well, knowing the typical old guy will never do something like this. I'm
Yeah.
more
So
the
that's why we asking. That's why we asking.
I'm more behind the scenes type guy. But
Yeah.
we always, even from back in school days, we always Lincoln as well. But Ja, you and myself a lot, and a couple others. We always been having conversations about it. Always,
Yeah. Yeah.
why
Yeah. For
this,
sure.
why that, and throwing ideas back and forth. And initially, back when we was in high school, that's one of the reasons why both of us went to study civil engineering in the beginning to
Yeah.
contribute coming back.
Facts.
So we've unbewusstly, could say unknowingly, been preparing ourselves for something like this. It's just
Yeah.
that upon while being in Holland, even the last cycle, not this cycle coming, but the last cycle, I was approached to run, and it at the time when I asked myself, why would I run? Besides it being a good opportunity at the time, I didn't really have uh, intrinsic reason because all our
Yeah.
conversations based on 10 years ago. It was nothing
Yeah.
recent.
Yeah.
And of course I'd have to move back. It was a snap election, this, that, and you guys know I do nothing without proper planning. So
Mm-hmm.
without a proper plan, so I forgoed on an opportunity. But since then, when somebody bring brings the idea like that to your head, you're like, okay, let me start looking into it to see if it's something for me, etc., etc. Back then I delved into the Dutch politics in Holland and then started keeping up with the St. Martin politics. And then I still wasn't over the fence until I moved back and started working on the island. Because when you're away, you have an opinion, but it's not really an informed opinion. You're looking at it from the outside in.
Yeah.
Because I was gone for 12 years. So upon moving back, I saw immediately, almost immediately, how my skills would be of advantageous to the island moving forward. And in starting to work, because I've done a couple private jobs, like private projects, like Rice Hill. I was over the Bethlehem project in Dutch Quarter, that road behind McDonald's going up.
Yeah.
I was over that. I did but that was private projects, and then I did the government projects, a couple government projects, as such as Bush Road, Union Road, and that's with working with government. So
Mhm.
in working with government, I saw a close up to how the apparatus runs, and basically how processes runs in government and whatever. And I immediately found a lot of opinions and immediately found ways of what I could bring to that. And that was for me the last push to say, Daryl, it's time to do this now and not later.
Okay. Okay. And in between the time that you left here in the 12 years that you was up there and you came back down, what was the main differences or the main consistencies that you see?
The main consistencies
Yeah, like
and
things that didn't
differences.
change.
Well, a lot of things didn't change. A lot of things changed in the sense of we got fast internet now.
Yeah.
In the first couple of years coming down, you was like, "Bye, I can't do this."
Yeah, they
You go
say
from one
walk in
speed, you
self.
come down here. Yes, because now people still complaining the internet ain't fast enough, but no, with us going back and forth, we've literally seen the spike in speed, you could say.
Yeah,
But
true.
I would say what's the same is basically the the aesthetics of, if it makes sense, the aesthetics of the island.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, we've been so busy maintaining what we have. We haven't really been able to focus on, taking a next step to make,
Yeah.
to level up, one would say.
Yeah.
And what the big change, I would say the mindset, because in my opinion, before going to Holland, so I left to Holland in 2009. So I would say before 2009, I was of the opinion that the St. Martin people were very content with the state of affairs on the island. Of course, you have
Mm-hmm.
the other political differences and opinions or whatever. But
Yeah.
now when I hear people talk, it's not that they want to be part of the Caribbean, they want to be the best of the Caribbean. And they're
Mm-hmm.
frustrated with the fact that, we're not in the upper echelon as we should be at this current time. So I would say more the mindset, which is good, because if you strive to be the best, eventually you'll get there.
Yeah.
I would say that's the main difference. I would say, because when I hear people talk now, it's like, oh, you really like tired of, I would say mediocrity, but tired of being on this level, and now you
Yeah.
want to go to the next level. Because
Yeah.
when you compare St. Martin to the rest of the islands, we're not mediocre. It would seem so
Yeah.
because we live here, but
Yeah.
we've been on the same level so long that it would seem so.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the mindset of the people, which is good, because only like that we're
Okay.
gonna really reach somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
And
have
we have a question for you from the
yeah,
comments.
yeah.
Signing and read it.
Let me read the comment. Okay, for the ones I have no idea what party you running on, and what is the portfolio sector you're looking forward to being able to work on.
Concerning the party is a National Alliance, and concerning portfolio, um, the election is not for portfolio. The election is for parliament.
Mm.
But if you want, if the question is geared towards what my background is, my background is infrastructure. Um, I live, sleep. I would use another word, but I know this is what kind of content
Speak
you eat.
freely and drinks with the fellas. We speak
You
freely.
know, I sleep, eat shit, everything infrastructure. You know what I mean? So where that is concerned, I have a background in it. I've experienced in it. I've studied it. So that's the sector where I have the most informed opinions on and ideas. But my whole campaign is not centered around infrastructure. It's also sports, young creatives in the sense of music, dance, arts, agriculture, and healthcare.
Okay.
Why National Alliance?
National Alliance from a couple reasons. You know, when people hear me speak, they're automatically quick to say, "Hey, you know, Daryl, we feeling you." We just feeling in the wrong party. You know what I mean? And one of the reasons for National Alliance is one of the oldest parties, and maybe not by name, but by tenure. You know, it goes back to the SPM days. It's one of the oldest
Mhm.
parties next to the DP on the island. And although it's old, it's still full of potential, if that makes sense. Because if anyone has been following National Alliance over the years, it's always been seen as a traditional older party. You know what I mean? So basically, everybody in the party was 40, 50 plus. You know what I mean? That were in it for 20, 30 years, 40 years. And this is the first time. I mean, the last couple of cycles, you saw 1, 2 millennials pop up, but this is the first time where the party is predominantly millennials. So basically, you have 10 or 11 new people, all around the same age bracket. Now, when you make a big shift like that, it's a partly ideological shift as well, because now we don't think the way the older generation think.
Yeah.
You know, we don't think the same way at all. And by making your party but predominantly of people that, you know, that basically we grew up around, a little older, a little younger than us, you automatically going with the flow as well. And that for me was an eye opener. Like normally in the past, people would say they're not really open to new ideas. Like before, and it was seen as a social party and not really a progressive when it comes to business. And now you're seeing them be opening up to being a more centralist party. So that's one reason. Second reason, because it's a party full of people that's done it before, you know, you can learn from them in the sense of the few how to do it or a few how not to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not a party comprised of everybody's brand new and everybody has these big, great, grand ideas, but no one knows the pragmatic, realistic the swing to things. So like, hey, you have this idea, but theoretically and in reality it works like this. You know what I mean? So that's where, especially in the past, you know, you have all these new candidates and new parties come out, and they come with all these grand ideas to really I'm gonna touch everyone, because when you hear like, hey, we're gonna make a floating road, for example, you're like, oh, we want that. You know what I mean? But then when time comes, you elect them, and it doesn't happen. So I found I need to be also a party where I could learn from the existing people how to do it or how not to do it. You can learn from both sides, eh? And change comes from within sometimes, and not always from outside.
Right.
So those are the main reasons to why I chose National Alliance.
Okay, so basically, why you choose NA? Basically, you basically kind of answer the next question that we're going to ask, because we're going to ask you, besides the pay, why go into politics? But you kind of touched base on that already with your answer.
Yeah, we touched base on that already. Yeah.
So we're going to take it back at least 13 years ago when this was implemented. This move was made for the St. Martin and St. Martin people, so to speak. What do you think about 10-10-10?
I think 10-10-10 was a move in the right direction, although, you know, when you're doing a project, you know, I break 10-10-10 down as a project. It's not just a move, because when they made a move, they weren't finished. You know, it's a process. Because you got to implement new stuff, you need to execute the stuff, you need to reevaluate the stuff, then you need to re-implement it. You know, you have to keep going until you find the proper ingredients for to make your soup. So I found it was a great move, although I feel, and I'm of the opinion, that a lot of steps were skipped after the move was made. Namely, you have the the evaluation and reevaluation of particular decisions, particular mandates, particular legislations, etc., that was never done. So if you make a move, as let's just say it's a business, and you make a reorganization of your business, you into accounting and business management, so you understand this for sure. You make a reorganization, and you put different people in different departments. You make new functions, etc. At a certain point, and you reallocate your budgets. At a certain point comes a time where you have to sit down and say, hey, how has this been functioning? And then you need to actually calibrate certain decisions, certain things done to be able to get a better result. And I found that calibration never happened. It literally never happened. So now we're operating 13, 15 years later, 13 years later, with the same settings from then, which shouldn't be.
But do you think a part of that issue is because maybe the decision to do 10-10-10 was a bit premature? Like it wasn't thought out and planned out properly?
I look at it this way. A baby start walking. There's no book at the exact day when a baby gonna start walk. It's never a best day to start. You know what I mean? But once that baby start walking, you got to make sure that you got all your corners and edges in your house, properly, softened up, and no open things and no things to fall on. You got to set it up to be able to facilitate those movements. And I wouldn't say it was premature. I would say it was rushed. And premature and rushed, you could say the same things, but more like it was a time, but the manner in which it was executed was kind of rushed, and which is okay. But that means if you rush it, means you got to keep a closer eye on it as you go forward.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that, and the closer eye would be, okay, rushing it means, okay, we're doing this, knowing we're going to, have mistakes made, which is part of everything. But then you have to sit down at a certain point and reevaluate and reassess the situation as you move forward. And the reassessing never happened. So that would be my opinion. And when people say, Daryl, as a, we all know, on the execution side of things, ministries and whatever, we all know what we all have an idea what to expect from you because your background is such and such. But where Parliament is concerned, what are you bringing to the table? And that would be the voice to start reassessing and start recalibrating these things, because that hasn't been done.
Yeah. From your perspective, what do you think about the separate status?
You mean the independency question moving forward, the separate status from that? Which one are you referring?
The separate status.
The separate status was in the sense of it gave St. Martin more, that people would say, grip over their own decisions, because one problem would be, okay, the decisions that has been made since then, but another problem was before then you didn't have a voice, you didn't have a say, everything went through Curacao. You know what I mean? You're sitting down with Curacao, you're having particular agreements made with them then, and then they go in the room separately with Holland, and you don't know what they said and done. Whenever they bring it back to you, it's like, okay, this is the decision. You don't know what they said or done. So now that, because of the separate status, you actually have a seat at the table. It is a step in the right direction. Because now the question is, what do you do once you're at the table?
True.
And from what I hearing is like, we I don't want to offend nobody, but we kind of like the Holland football team, we just can't finish. We coming forward, but we can't complete.
The thing is what I would have to say about that. One underrated aspect about St. Martin having a seat at the table is that people forget, having a seat at the table, basically you're talking business. And in talking business, a very underrated factor is relations and relationships. If you come in as a new face, and when I say new face, as an island, so St. Martin is one island, one face. In those discussions, you come in as a new face, you don't have no relationships anymore. You don't know what this one like, what that one like. They don't know what you about. They don't know how you just go about business. You don't know how they go about business. So what happens is you got to learn all of that and create all of that. before people start taking you serious. Now, what St. Martin had against them in the beginning is every time they have a table sitting, a meeting, basically, I put it like that. A new face from St. Martin came to represent St. Martin. So that then you got the revolving door. That's when government was falling every 2 seconds, etc., etc., etc. So then you could say St. Martin became the laughing stock at that table.
Yeah.
So aside from becoming a laughing stock as well, because they got new people coming in there all the time, you can't build a relationship.
Yeah.
Because you can't
No
build a
consistency.
relationship, no consistency, you can't get the best deal. That's just how business runs.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
because there's no relationship, and basically, if I speak from out of their perspective, I don't know you. You know, and every time I speak York Island, is a different person in front of me. I just don't give you the same old generic approach I would have given anybody else. You know, and that's where, you know, in the past years, you could say St. Martin was getting the bad end of the stick when it comes to certain deals. But you see now moving forward, and if you look at 5-6 years ago to now, if you look at the type of deals that are being done, St. Martin has kind of been turning the tide where that is concerned, because the consistency has been there and the relationship building has been happening. So although, you know, people would see, oh, St. Martin just get a loan. Like I just saying, just general speaking. St. Martin gets a loan of how much ever million. Okay. But what the percentage interest is on that loan compared to what they would have gotten 6, 7, 8 years ago. Or what the percentage on that loan is compared to what other islands got.
Yeah.
Within the kingdom. You
we
know,
we have a comment here. As asking a question in correlation to whoever moved the station made. She asked, do you think, coming from an economic standpoint for St. Martin, that would have been smarter to have done the same thing as Statia did, where we would have been able to have the same benefits as Holland, as in Holland? In your opinion,
it depends. It depends how you look at it. Look, for one, hindsight is 2020. Yeah,
right.
That's one. So that's a very underrated thing we can't forget. Hindsight is 2020. Right. Secondly, Statia has their own government, but they can't really make their own decisions. All of us have lived or living right now in this conversation in Holland, and Holland has a very controlled culture of governing. Very controlled culture that people on the islands that never live in Holland would not know. And people are, you know, if you delve into how, you know, governments are run worldwide, less government is better. The less government has to say over your way of living, the better it is for you. People didn't understand that until COVID came and you was living in Holland at the time. I would say maybe now, after having a natural disaster and actually experiencing a pandemic, maybe we would have been in a better position if we were still more on the Holland as a Statia or Sabre. But prior to these two catastrophic events, St. Martin was economically wise. You know, we was on the top of tourism, etc. It's a reason why people fail to realize and doesn't see that fact. You see the Dutch trying to get back into St. Martin so much, you know, after they kind of give it up. And knowing the Dutch, you know, you live there 10 years, Lincoln, you're still living there. The Dutch don't do nothing that's not advantageous to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So if St. Martin was doing so bad, I didn't have so much potential, they wouldn't try to get back into what they had before. You know, St. Martin is a potential cash cow, and everybody, you know, sees that, knows that from the outside looking in. It's just that because we in it every day, we don't see it. It has a lot of potential. And, you know, if you look at the newspaper clippings from recently, it's a economical top, blah, 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 in the Caribbean when it comes to economical perspectives moving forward. Okay, that doesn't put food on the table now, but we got to build towards something that can, and we have the potential to do so. Yeah. So we're not there yet, but don't take anything I said here as, you know, St. Martin is good and St. Martin is great. What I'm saying is St. Martin has the potential to be great, and we just got we just got to get it there.
Long time. I have a
Yes.
question though. I have a question. We're hearing talks about a potential change in the St. Martin anthem because now we have a flag, a St. Martin flag that's not just Dutch or French. It's St. Martin. We have basically a unified St. Martin flag. So now talks are going on about a national anthem for St. Martin. What do you think about that?
I don't see. Listen, if the national anthem was in Dutch, and now St. Martin has its own identity, I would say, yeah, that got to change. If the St. Martin anthem or was referring to a bunch of things from the Netherlands, I would say, yeah, the thing need to change. But where that is concerned, I'm in the middle because one way you want to keep it traditional, next way you want to say you want to move with the times. But I don't have anything against the current St. Martin. So I'm not for or against, but I just have nothing against it. So if we keep it, no problem.
Okay.
If we change it, I'll go too.
Okay. Now, I know you. Lumber know you. We know you. We grew up with you. But there are people that don't know you. That, like, for instance, me, growing up, every time the election come about, whatever the case may be, is the reason why there's a new election. There's always a new face on the board. We're just like, who the hell is this person? Why should we trust this person? Because normally, a lot of times, when people go into politics, they go into politics for selfish reasons. You understand? That's the perspective that we have. So now, for the viewers that don't know you, because we know you, we on Drinks to the Fellas know you. But for people that don't know you, what makes you different from any other politician not going in to postulate yourself for parliament?
Well, you have the cliche stuff that I'm not gonna say. So basically saying that, someone that's honest, transparent, and straightforward with his speaking. Anybody that knows me know I straightforward. I lack a better term, I could be more filtered at times. But I'm of the opinion that, especially with this money thing that people is talking about, oh, you're going in for the salary and you're making a good salary, etc., etc. I'm of the opinion, next to your professionalism and what you bring professionally, whatever background you may have, you're supposed to be stable in life before you say you're going to take this step to say, hey, I'm going into politics. The money should not be a driving factor. Actually, the money shouldn't be the factor at all. Because, this might be a very bad analogy, but I can't think of a better one for at the moment. If you have, let's say you got two dogs, right? And one dog is malfed, and the next dog is very well fed. So the next dog's scrawny, barely got food every day. When you put a plate of food in front of both of them, what happens?
No, fight for it.
Mhm.
They're gonna fight for it.
Yeah.
Or one person, the hungry one, going to take over, and then fight the other one when it comes to take a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he gonna try, but he ain't gonna win.
Exactly. But now that one that's hungry, that's how you say it again. Eating
Malnourished.
out of hunger and is tunnel vision because now he ain't seeing that person ain't seeing that, hey, the way you're moving on there kind of not it's not done.
Yeah.
You can't really blame that person because that dog never had food like that in front of his mouth ever.
Yeah. Facts. He just trying to look out for himself.
At that moment. You understand? And I'm of the opinion if you're going to postulate yourself to be part of, to take such a mantle aside from whatever professionally you bring or whatever knowledge or opinions you bring, you're supposed to be that well-fed, a normally fed dog that if you get food in front of you, you're not going to get tunnel vision and get rabid. And I believe that in the past, you had a lot of new people growing up, and they weren't in that position in life to where they could say no.
Yeah. It's like I compare that analogy to one that was taught to me when I was studying business. They say people who have to see a lot of money every day, they should be paid well, that the money don't tempt them.
Yeah. So but you see, without going into my personal business, you guys know I'm a very stable person in that aspect, aside from whatever profession me I bring. And if people want, and because I'm straightforward, if people want a politician that actually holds other politicians accountable, regardless of color, and I ain't talking black or white, I'm talking regardless of party, because I feel that's is what is missing from today's in today's arena. Then I'm the guy for that.
Yeah. The accountability thing is really a big deal. And since you mentioned, I have a next question. How you think you're going to manage where, because when you hold people accountable, you step on their toes. You know how you feel like you'll be able to manage with that. Let's say if you have to hold,
I'm curious. I'm curious. Without me answering this question, you knowing me, what would be the answer to that question?
By the way, I don't know what kind of approach you're going to have because now,
I can answer you. I can answer you. But I'm curious to knowing me, what would your answer be to that if somebody had to ask you that question?
Well, I would just tell them, well, he going to stand his ground.
There we go.
Look,
it's in politics. Of course, I'm not naive. I'm not oblivious. This is a give and take. You can't always. It's just like doing business. It's a give and take. So you can't always have the firm hand or whatever. But a lot of times, I feel especially in Parliament, the hand becomes too loose in the sense of, no one is held accountable at a certain point.
Yeah.
MP. A lot of people don't realize the MPs are actually the boss of the ministers, the bosses of the ministers. But in St. Martin's culture, in the way St. Martin goes about politics, you would not believe so. Because you sit down and I'm not saying all of them do it that way, but the majority of them, like they're asking questions nicely. And I'm not saying nice in the sense of manners. Of course, you need to have manners. But it's like, like they're begging for answers. Whereas, no, you're supposed to give me answers. Print. And I believe that culture needs a shift, because if I'm doing a job and I know I'm going to be held accountable for something, that's going to influence my decision making as well. And if I am how is it again, used to whatever I do, I'm not going to be asked about it. That also influences the type of decisions I make. So if we're gonna make a step in the proper direction, we got to start fostering a culture within Parliament, within government, to where every decision that you make, just know the chance of you being held accountable for it is very high.
Yeah.
And aside from that, the transparency factor behind it. A lot of things are done on this island and people don't understand why. Either it was never explained to them, or they just don't know, because so it comes a point to where you need to educate your residents, your citizens, for them to be better knowledgeable on certain things. Because, for example, a lot of people didn't even know the difference between a law and a policy.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Parliament, you always hear, even from opposition as well, they want to they push in new policies, but a policy is a directive, not a regulation. So a policy is also not legally binding.
No.
So you can make whatever policy you want, and the same amount of people are gonna sit down and be like, oh yeah, that MP they're doing a good job. He bring like 20 new policies. But a policy is not a regulation; it's a directive. So basically, if a minister wants to make to veto that policy, make whatever decision he wants to make, he can do so. And these are the minor things that if you don't know, you don't know. So basically, a show is being made. Oh yeah, 20 policies, 10 policies, whatever. But it's basically like you're making a drawing, and you start with an outline.
Yeah.
And then you go with your colors and you start coloring it in, right? Basically, you can't color outside of those lines. You got to stay within the lines.
Exactly.
So you got to see the policies as like the coloring, laws as the outline. So what happens when you don't have an outline and you just start doing colors? Now you could make somebody's nose as big as possible. You could make a ear as big as possible, and I could still say I draw Jah.
Yeah, and then they're gonna call it art.
Whereas it's a distorted version of Jah, and just because the person you're selling it to don't know what Jah look like, they're gonna buy it and think it's Jah.
Yeah.
So automatically, by educating the citizens, you're getting also a sort of accountability, because now not only people of parliament going to hold accountable, you got people outside that understand us, know what's going on.
Yeah, but you see how you just break it down there in layman's terms for us as well as the viewers. I think it would take a lot of effort to really bring across all the information that people have need to be more informed and
No,
have.
you don't need to bring across, you don't have to bring across everything, but there are big stuff. Like the other day, they had the whole I just lose the name. The capital expenditure budget.
The capex,
That the capex. And you saw the Ministry of Finance go out on this educational campaign where you saw things on WhatsApp, you saw things on Facebook, you even started on the radio every now and then. And look, you cannot inform everyone, but you can do your best to do so.
Yeah.
And once you do your best is all you got. But let's just say that was never done. Then you have people say, "Oh, we get capital expenditure," but no one understands what it is. At least now you got a couple of people that understands what it is because they saw some type of campaign somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like I said, is the minor steps that has to be taken, as the culture that needs to be started. Because now the only reason I could say, "Oh, Ministry of Finance did it," because they're one of the few or one of the only ones that does it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you shouldn't be in a minority. I don't feel government should, that should be a thing that I should point out and say, "Oh, they got a good job." It should be something that's expected.
True.
So that's why in everything I said, you have to start fostering a particular culture. And of course, I'm not saying I can do that by myself, but I can be one of the few that actually sticks to it and starts it.
Yeah, get the ball rolling.
I got to start somewhere. And we always listen to new candidates say, "Oh, I gonna do this and I gonna do that and I gonna do that." Let's keep it real. You're one of, especially in Parliament, you're one of 15. You can't do nothing.
Facts.
No, that's just keeping it real. You
as
one person cannot do anything. So when they come in and say, "Oh, I gonna do this and oh, I gonna do that," just ask them how.
Yeah.
You understand? You have to start. You got to get a ball moving, and then you got to get people on your bandwagon to do it as well. It's not something you could go in there and just be King Tut and say, "Okay, I'm here now, and everything gonna change." Who's you? No, but for real. And I feel it's especially during campaigning, people are disillusioned with how the apparatus works.
Yeah.
It's not one person going in; it's actually a collective of people making things happen. So if you're voting for somebody that says, "Hey, this person has great ideas, but he can't really get people to follow him, but he can't really talk to people," just know that person elected gonna have the same effect in Parliament. Nobody going to follow him. Nobody going to vote along with it. But he has the best ideas.
Yeah.
So these are the type of things people need to take into account when they're voting for people. You're not voting for the person ideas. You're voting for the person as well. That's a very underrated aspect in this whole voting thing. For one, you're not voting for whatever that person said they're going to do. You gotta vote for the person, seeing if that person is capable of fostering or getting the environment to a certain point that those things can get done. And that's a very underrated aspect of things.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't see it like that, and our voting culture and political culture is way different.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that's why you see me here explaining more. Like you said, why should people vote for me? Why should people vote for anyone? Don't vote for merely for a sensationalized version of someone's ideas. Because when someone comes and talk to you, they're gonna watch and see what you're struggling with, and they're gonna blow it up and say that should change. But when they say that should change, half of the time they ain't come up with a solution. They're just saying it's not good. And then when you look at the solution, sometimes it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's not realistic. And then thirdly, sometimes you're going, if the person comes with a proper solution, a sensible solution, you look at it, you be like, "Why? But you can't talk to people. You just talk. You can't really talk to people. So how you gonna get this done?"
Yeah. So they just come into you to sauce you up for a vote.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically. And that's why I said sensationalized versions, because You know, I've seen they have this prominent candidate, new as well, come out and said, um, new economical plan for St. Martin. Oh, so basically, if we do this, St. Martin will be the best thing since sliced bread. Like, wow, where has this plan been? And all of every island, no one think about this plan before.
Yeah.
Like you come here, you invent the whole wheel, and this going to work. Like that's what I mean with the disillusion of things. You know, like there's
Yeah.
even a couple of politicians going around and say, to save St. Martin's infrastructure, we need $21 billion. What?
What?
So now they painting a illusion that it's irreparable and it's in the most deplorable state and da da da. And this money that we need is unattainable. But okay, what is this 21 billion based on? What, a berekening from Holland? Based on the Holland GDP? That's what it's based on.
Yeah.
But these are the things people don't really realize when they hear, you know, because you hear 21 billion, you hear, oh, this bad and that bad. You don't tend to realize what it's based on. And because you don't realize what it's based on, you're checking like, yeah, I agree with that. And then you vote for these people, and these people get in here. They don't do nothing they said because it was never realistic to begin with. You understand? So when people ask me like that, okay, infrastructure, shoot, what you going to bring? You bringing new roads? You bringing this? I'm like, no. New roads ain't going to fix the problems we have right now. Because asking you guys right now, when you look at infrastructure, in your eyes, what's the main problem at this moment?
At this moment?
Yeah, when you drive on the road, at this moment, what's the main problem? And your opinion?
I feel like it's poorly assembled, poorly put together.
Mm-hmm. And then, what do you think when you drive on the road?
I ain't a rabbit hole, love.
The first thing comes to mind when you drive on the road. What's the first thing comes to mind?
First thing comes to mind. See, the thing is that I had driving instructor. I was a driving instructor, so it's like
shoot. Name it.
In mind or not, the first thing that come to mind is street signs.
Okay. Now let's delve into those two things for a minute. You have Lumber. You say poorly put together.
Yeah.
Now, if we just look at, let's say, Ministry of Roaming, that's over infrastructure. You have the permits department and you have the infrastructure department. And the permits department is mainly for construction, right? It's only for construction. You go in, you want to build a house, and you get a permit. Whether it's good or bad, you get it eventually. But Roaming is also an infrastructure department. Now, we have legislation and policies. So we have the laws and we have the policies. They were recently updated. Big up the minister for that. We got a new building code finally after 100 years, almost 100 years.
Damn.
Yeah, before this, all buildings were based on the building code from the 1930s. Eh?
Wow.
So now it's finally updated. It's been finally updated.
Wow.
So big up the ministry for that.
Yeah.
Big up on the other end of things, you know, we're doing infrastructure and it's an infrastructure ministry, but there's no legislation on infrastructure. So basically they have, you know, things in place to tell you how, like 2D, how broad your wide your road needs to be, the slope of the road based on the heading of the hill. You know, they have those surface stuff, but there's nothing 3D. They have nothing 3D in place. So there's nothing telling you how your soil deposition density needs to be, how the compaction needs to be, how your layers of your asphalt needs to be, how for which situation you need what type of strength of road or whatever. So basically a bush road leading into Pondville going into the harbor, that route is a different type of use, is being used differently than, let's say, it's the Pond Road. You have big freight trucks driving on that route with 12 wheels, that type of thing. Now, you cannot. That road should never have the same type of, how you say, put togetherness, like how you would say just now, as a KB or as a Oyster Pond or as a Middle Region or as a Dutch Quarter. It's different type of usages demands different type of constructions. But people look at asphalt, it's just a black thing. No, it's a big. They got people got to study 4 years just to become an asphalt specialist. You know what I mean? So, the composition of your road from all 3 or all 4 layers is dependent on what you're going to use the road for. And in St. Martin, because of how things has always been done, is a copy-paste culture. So you're just going to look at the old report, copy-paste it and say, hey, because I work in the Raymond Roads now. So they're going to say, hey, Raymond Roads, we want you to build this road like this. Okay. So when Raymond Roads come and build it like this, or we say, hey, for example, you shouldn't build like this, you should do it like this. Now, like this costs more money. Like now, we ain't got the money for that, so we ain't doing it like that. Or maybe what are you asking for is not really smart for this situation. We advise this. You have no one in house to check what we're advising. So what you're gonna do? Automatically say no.
Mm.
You understand?
So basically,
because you have no legislation, there's no regulation and there's no directive to say, hey, this demands this, and how you do this, that's based on your specialty now. You know,
yeah,
color within these lines.
yeah.
Right now there are no
exactly.
lines, so that's why you see places like Waymont Hill, Valley Estate, Indigo Bay, all these new roads being made, and they within 10 years they're cracking and they're looking terrible.
Yeah.
Or even now on the Bush Road, you have a hole in the road, for example.
Yeah.
The road freshly done. So these are now Bush Road. Anybody knows Bush Road Cul-de-sac Basin is a well.
Yes.
You know, you dig a hole, you will find water. You're gonna hit water.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever structure you put on that road cannot be the same structure you put on any other road. That's what that road is a well. Cape Bay intersection is a well.
Yeah.
You understand? Anybody that knows water, understands water, you just can't put something on top of it and think, keep it down. Water will find its way. You know, so these type of things, so especially legislative wise, these are the type of things that needs to get attention moving forward as well.
Okay. So those type of projects don't go through the same kind of scrutiny like a building permit would go through. Like when you want to build something.
No, at all.
Damn, that's crazy.
Even though you have the professionals in house, or you would have 1 or 2 professionals in house in the department, they have nothing to grade whatever proposal they have.
Okay.
You know, so it's basically whatever sounds like it makes sense, and that's not the way to do things. You're gonna lose money.
Facts.
You understand? So these are the type of things where, like I said, there's a reevaluation of how things have been being done since 10-10-10 that needs to be reevaluated, because if you don't do that, you'll keep spending money, you'll keep throwing money in an open well.
Yeah.
And thinking it'll full up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think the problem is that some people don't believe in the idea of investment?
Look, a very old, not very old, but a big veteran in the political game, I ain't gonna call no name, but figured out how to reach the St. Martin people. St. Martin people like tangible things. They like things they could smell, see, touch. Whether it's a jump up, whether it's a big something and that you could put your name behind and say, I build that. They like to see that. They like to, they feel things are being done when that happens. So what happens, government is a copycat league. Whatever works, they will copy. So I put it like this, there are people and parties that, make the popular decisions today that everybody gonna like. But by the time the result rears its ugly head, they're long gone. So popular decision that leads to an unpopular result. And then there are the few, and that's one of the reasons why I chose NA, that are not scared to make the unpopular decision today that eventually will lead to a popular result tomorrow. Why I say that? And a lot of things that needs to be done, you need to do the proper paperwork. You understand? Like this capital expenditure thing. You think that was something that they submitted last week or last month? No, they've been working on that. They've been working on that. You understand? But now, how politics has traditionally been ran, they would take all the government money that government has, go build something fancy, and say, hey, in this 4 years, we did that at least. But 10 years later, that ain't even well thought through. Like, let's look at town. The beautification project 15, 20 years ago. When it was done, we thought we was in things. Because
Yeah.
we see things done. But look now, we don't have no parking. We don't have no way for handicapped people to push their wheelchairs, so they're pushing it on the road. You know,
Yeah.
we put bricks on sand. So now every couple of months we got to go fix bricks. You know what I mean? So it
Mhm.
was something that was beautiful, but it was not sustainable. But at the
Yeah.
time, the party got votes off of they got stuff done.
Yeah.
Now they long gone, and now the new party is getting stick for not fixing what the old parties did.
Mhm.
Now it's a question like, oh, Phillipsburg dead, revitalize Phillipsburg. But how are you gonna do that with no parking? No say Martin person going to walk 200 meters to the closest event
You
or whatever.
crazy. You
It's
crazy.
not going to
Nobody ain't
happen.
doing that. Nobody walking
Yes,
that.
you have co-parvening has been very successful, but that's not an everyday thing. So you don't
Yeah.
get, movement and those type of events, but you can't expect people constantly, consistently to go to town for an event. That's why a lot of restaurants would open and they would close eventually because they don't have no way to house all these cars. Because man, people don't carpool. We don't
Nah.
carpool.
Nope.
We want to go to our own right because we want to go when we want and leave when we want,
Yep.
and we don't want to walk. And if you're going to walk, you want to have lights and something fancy to walk on. We don't have that in town right now.
Nah.
You understand? But now we got to find solutions for a problem that was made, but that was once hailed when it happened.
Mhm.
The boardwalk. We have a boardwalk, yes, but was it built properly? Because as soon as the water tide goes up to a certain level, the boardwalk covered. You see what happened the other day? You
Yeah.
can't walk in it.
Yeah.
The project was never thought out properly in the sense of you need to put uh, a barrier just before you jump on the boardwalk.
Mhm.
Los Angeles has it. So if you even copying what other people do, let's copy it properly.
Yeah.
So that's why I said like I have a forward thinking aspect. I transparent in my whole campaign. A decision that you make today should be able to fix a problem of today, but also be able to handle the challenges of tomorrow.
It's just basically just long-term thinking.
You need
Long.
long-term thinking and everything, especially when you don't have abundance of funds. So you got to make sure whatever you do today can also handle the challenges of tomorrow because you're gonna have the money for tomorrow to fix that problem again.
Yeah.
So we're
That's
always thinking about how to make more money in St. Martin. Yes, that's a very important aspect, but we got to look at how we're spending it too.
and that's why that's those two things is the reason why I wonder if investment, whether it's time, effort, and financial investment, is something that's not really something that people in Saman really think about. They
I
think
wouldn't
about
say that.
not
That's what I'm saying. So the investment part of things is the non-sexy part because you don't see things happening. But again, the investment thing is ways to make money. Is very important. But parallel to that, it's very, very important to look at how you spend what you have. Because you can invest, and when that money comes, you just splurge the money. It ain't good either.
no.
You know what I mean? So if like I just saying something just randomly, if right now our budget is 500 is 100 million dollars a year, okay, and we're gonna make an investment to carry it up to 200 million, okay. But if we bad spending or maybe not efficiently spending the money we have now, when we get to 200 million, what's gonna happen then?
Spending badly.
Maybe was.
You understand? So you can't only think about ways to make more money. You got to actually reevaluate the ways that you're spending the money now. Because right now, when you have, if people, anybody that watches the parliament meetings, when they're doing the budgets, every year you gotta do a new budget. Okay, you're gonna have budget amendments and requests from the various ministries. Say, hey, we need more money for this. The finance minister allocating money for that. Great. And then that money is spent, and then next year comes, and we're doing a new budget debate, and we're talking about the new year. Nobody reevaluating the old year because
Mhm.
to make a lumber, you do business, so you study it as well. So in order to allocate money, you got to look at the trends, right?
Yeah. You must. You must.
You need to look at the trends, and to look at the trends is historical information, whether it's
Yeah.
3 years, 5 years, how much ever years.
Yeah.
And you need to evaluate how the money was spent before you check on how you're going to spend money moving forward. But
Yep.
show me a parliament meeting when they do a revaluation,
None.
evaluation of the year before. It doesn't happen. And this is what I mean by saying the culture needs to start changing within how government works before you could change what happens outside.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The solution gotta come from within.
Yeah.
You know.
For example,
Yeah.
as well, you have parliamentarians, you have ministers, you have governor, all these fancy positions. But who does the work?
That's
That's
You have
that's a good.
it's a civil servant, right?
That gotta be them.
Okay. Now, growing up, high school, primary school, being a civil servant was a place to be, right?
Yeah,
Like
from what I used to
once you're a
see.
civil servant, you're set, you're this, you're that.
Yeah.
They're even looking at promotion. And once they become a civil servant, they're good.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing a brain drain in that sector because they don't feel appreciated or they didn't get a scale increase since 2010 or whatever. So people in the wrong scales, or you have this in-loop scale nonsense that they be doing. If you don't fix those problems first, you will come with whatever plan you want. It will never be executed the way you want it to be executed because the people that are executing it are disgruntled.
Yeah.
So you got to fix in-house first before you start worrying about what's going on outside.
Yep. Facts.
Understand?
Big facts.
And it's the unpopular thing to do because now people will say, "Oh, you're only focusing on one set of people," but we need that set of people to make the island move forward. So they need to be going work. When last you went government building and somebody greet you with a smile.
Yeah, they always vex.
And this is not something from this government. This has been something from the last 10 years. It just never got the proper focus and attention that it requires. You understand? If you apply for government right now, you wait in 6 months averagely before you can get hired.
Damn.
Unless they come.
You understand? Unless they come to you directly.
Yeah, but I always feel like that's a setup when they come to you directly.
You see, but when you go through the regular channels, it's extensive, elongated, for no reason process. So how do you expect to fix the problems when it comes to manpower if you have a solicitation process that's elongated and not interview the person has been interviewed friendly? You know what I mean? So we could focus on, hey, we need to put on the status of the art road tomorrow, but all these other things behind that needs a lot of attention. And without fixing that, you can't fix that road. Anybody that work in ministries right now, they will tell you there's so much yellow tape in getting things done because of all the current legislations that are there, right? Current legislations and mandates, you got to jump through hoops to get certain things done. That takes away the morale from the person who's executing it. So that civil servant done checking like, wow, this thing don't make no sense already. No, I ain't really putting on my work in this because it's too much jumping up and down. No, that yellow tape needs to be reevaluated and cleared up. Because before you go, all these new candidates coming in saying they're making new legislation, they're bringing this and they're bringing that. Okay, do you know all the legislation that's there already? No, no one knows. Not even William Allen the They don't know everything either. You understand? You need to reevaluate what you have, clear that up first, efficiency-wise, before you go add. Because when you keep adding, you're just making the problem worse.
Yeah, and usually what they add does contradict what's already there.
And that's what I mean. You're making the problem worse.
Yeah.
Evaluate what you have there, clean it up, and then look at legislation that will actually facilitate what you already have to make it go smoother, make it go faster. Because all these government processes are very long for no reason.
We have a question here in the comments here. Since healthcare is also one of the things you campaign on, can you tell us a little about that?
Where healthcare is concerned, you have different sectors of healthcare. I'm more looking at the sense of, okay, we're building a new hospital, right? It's taking longer than it's supposed to take. So what we do right now, we have always been doing, we ship people out. We ship them to Panama, Santo Domingo, Colombia, or whichever country we have a good agreement with at the time. Have we ever looked at what other countries charge, their hospitals charge for a night in a hospital compared to St. Martin?
Not that I know.
I dare anybody to go and do a little research on that. So St. Martin right now, you're paying for a 10-star hotel per night.
Ah,
I had
one night.
I had a close family member. She was in there for 6 days. She didn't have no insurance. Okay, it was over $5,000 for 6 days,
Dollars?
dollars,
Wow.
and she wasn't operated on. Just a little
Mhm.
IV. You know what I mean? So behind the scenes, SFV are paying these exorbitant numbers for on island care. What happens if they got to pay it? Who got to pay them? You know?
Yeah, yeah, it was paying. We paying
You
everything.
know. So last year, the year before, last year, they already had a hike in percentage in what we're paying. I don't know if people are looking at the salary slips, but you know they're
Mhm.
paying more. People over a certain, let me put it this way, over a certain threshold of income, paying more money now than they used to pay 2 years ago. And now with this whole new healthcare plan coming in, they're going up again. And then the arguments are, yeah, but if something happened to you, you're getting good care. They're sending you out, they're doing this, they're doing that. There are a lot of costs that SSV makes. Okay, cool. And then they're saying, okay, when we make this new hospital, we don't have to send you away anymore. Okay, but if the care and man costs more than when we send you away, that ain't fixing the problem either.
Nope.
You understand? Somebody got to pay that bill. And it's always
But what is
insured.
the reason? Like, what is the build up for the price? They just simply overcharging, or where they getting the equipment and stuff is just pricey, or what was the reason for the overcharge?
No, all these hospitals, they buy from the same, not from the same, but it's a set of different manufacturers that they buy for. That's not with it. That's neither here nor there. But for example, if I bring in a doctor from Africa or wherever, you think he gonna charge me the same thing he gonna charge his own country?
No.
Okay. We know we building a new hospital. How long? Since we go in school, you know, a new hospital coming,
Yeah,
right?
a while. A
Did
while.
government start a campaign fostering people going into healthcare for these higher positions like doctors and high ranking positions in healthcare?
Nah.
The few locals that actually went away, has St. Martin been keeping close tabs and communication with them that as soon as this hospital open, they're ready to move back down?
Doubt it.
Of course not.
You know? So all these initiatives are being made, but the proper planning behind it to make sure it goes smoothly, efficiently, cost-wise as well, hasn't been done. So now basically, let's say we have a local eye specialist in Holland. You know, she in here from St. Martin. I get a random example. Yeah? This person in here from St. Martin, how many years, blah, 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 but never had communication like that. And, you know, they over there making the whole family, you know, family plans, future plans, children, this, married, whatever could happen. And then St. Martin just pops up one day and say, hey, come back. You think this person gonna uproot their whole life
Nah.
to move back one time?
Nah.
But if you were keeping tabs with these people, these persons, they could actually plan or have some consideration for like, hey, around this and this time, yeah, you know, that when that time does come, they hear yesterday than quicker than tomorrow,
Yeah.
you know. So when this new hospital come, how many locals we have to fill it?
Not enough.
Okay, so which means the you got to bring more people in, right?
Yep.
Bring more people in that don't carry up the expenditure of the hospital.
That was
Immediately.
question. That's literally the next question that was being posed there.
Yeah. So you carry the expenditure goes up, and then who have to pay the expenditure? You didn't SHV?
Yep. And then we gotta pay SZV.
All right. Now, aside from that, last year the move was made where SSG took over the majority, almost 90% of the island because the threshold, they pushed up the threshold. So
Yeah,
everybody
they push
almost
it
fell
up.
under,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they fell under SSG. When you do that, what happens? You destroy the market, right? The little market that was there.
Mm-hmm.
When you destroy the market, where you create a monopoly, right?
Monopoly. Yeah.
In what world does a monopoly help your price?
No, it. None.
In what world does a monopoly carry down the cost or your price? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So by doing that move, you eliminate the competition basically, because
Mhm.
now there's none. If you want, you can't, and because it's a particular way, you can't even go say you don't get private insurance because it's mandatory
Yeah.
to have social insurance. You know, so these are the type of things we need to look into. And this is not something I'm saying just to create an uproar or whatever like that. But the questions aren't really being posed. And I'm not saying the people who initiated these things don't have good at heart, they don't mean well. I just don't see it as a sustainable decision.
Yeah.
Because saying in 3 years, because look, last year they carry it up. Even then, I'd say, okay, but when you monopolize things, that don't really have the problem. Now, a year and a half later, this new thing coming, they're carrying it up again. So there's never the time where people say and ask the reason how. Yes, as we have all these costs. Okay, let's look at eliminating some of these costs.
Yeah.
Why is it only asset fee? You know what I mean? These questions aren't really being posed. And yes, you can get the best answers because yes, people talk about these answers, but the decisions being taken ain't helping most people. Yes, more people are going to be covered. Yes, you have the sole proprietors that before couldn't get coverage, getting coverage now. Correct. But it can't be that we're moving forward with certain things. So you have to scale this. And okay, this new thing, bringing it more like, going this way, which is nice. But you can't have it that this going up and this going down faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
That difference there is what's actually the real problem. The way where this line is not the problem, because everybody focusing on this line.
Yeah.
Despite this line going up, just going this line. But the difference between the lines is the real problem. And if one line going up, one line going down, ain't really helping it.
We gotta bridge the gap.
You got to bridge the gap. And I feel if once you focus on those kind of things, automatically the solution comes.
So we have
But we
another
want
question.
quick.
Isn't SZA a government-owned business?
I want to say government-owned business, but like for example, you have Telem, you have GB, you have all these government is a stakeholder in these businesses. But if you dive into it, stakeholder doesn't mean you have say. Stakeholder mean you could come with your opinion. But the way government are stakeholders in these things, like if you look at Telem, if government goes into Telem, government can't say, I want this, I want that, because in the bylaws doesn't allow a stakeholder to have so much say. And a stakeholder is the government, but the representative is the minister. You follow me with that one? If I'm the representative and I come in and I say so and so and so and so, you don't got to listen to me because at the end of the day, I need 7 other people to sign off. So I don't really have final say, which means I don't really have much to say. So if you're sitting on the other end of the table, that doesn't take away my negotiation power.
Yep.
Okay. So let's have a little session of how we would have if we was, say for instance, we on the block in Ebenezer chilling on the rocks. Okay. Let's talk about the aspects of politics in regards to something that might be out of the direction in your pursuit in politics to be. What do you think about the cost of living in Samantha?
I feel the cost of living is high. It's only getting higher. And, last year, for example, because we're focusing on the wrong things, as a government, I would say, because, okay, government cannot regulate everything, but it can start doing something. We have inspection department that don't inspect, So now if I'm a supermarket, I could put whatever price I want to anything and you got to pay it, right? I can sell you whatever type of quality and you got to buy it, right? All right. So it starts from the nitty-gritty first. Then if you want to initiate particular regulations to regulate certain things, which would help, it would then put a minister or department in a position to where they could execute it. Now, last year or the year before, minimum wage went up. I will show you a perfect example of the focus in the wrong areas. Minimum wage went up. That same week, every store in town went up with the price. So if my pay go up by, I don't know what the percentages were out my head, but let's say if my pay go up by 3%, My minimum wage pay, not everybody pay went up. Minimum wage went up. If my pay go up by 3%, and then the engine down the road say, hey, they're making more money, so they could spend more. Send up the prices by 10%. You think my spending power gone up? I'm making more, I can spend less.
Mm-hmm.
Now I heard the minister said this year again and next year, in the coming months, you want to send it up again. Cool, granted, but let's evaluate what happened the last time you did it. Let's fix that problem
Mm-hmm.
before you go do it again for the same thing to happen again.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not saying and by no means am I saying, they mean bad with the decision. But to me, it could be done more efficiently in the sense of, okay, you executed, you did this, they did that. Okay, before we do it again, how we gonna make sure we remedy that problem? Because the same thing going to happen again.
Yep.
What happens is you spend the power of the minimum wage goes down, but also the people that make a bit more money than that goes down as well because they ain't getting no raises at all.
None at all. We gotta deal with this 10% hike.
You understand? So now they experience 2 hikes and their salary move. And then people gonna say, yeah, but they're making the money. But by the time them 2 things gone up, they're making less money.
Mm-hmm.
Or with all these insurance hikes or whatever they have, a 1%, 2% is a lot of money for these people.
Yeah.
You understand? So you could say you're helping one sector, but by helping one sector, you're creating another problem in another sector. And then you say you're trying to help this sector, the same sector that you've been helping all the time, but you're actually making it worse because now you raise this, but this happens, so now they're spending less money. So if I might pay Ghana by $1 and you send up a pound of sugar by 50 cents, I'm losing because I got to buy more pound of sugar a month.
Yeah.
Then that $1 I gone up for that month.
Yeah.
So these are the things I feel. And then these questions, okay, you propose this as a minister. Okay, cool, no problem. Great. Where are the questions from Parliament with this type of perspective being posed? And maybe the minister have an answer for it. No, maybe. I'm not saying he doesn't, but these questions are not being posed. So now the citizens and the residents are sitting down checking like, oh my God. That brings another type of stress.
Yeah. Definitely.
Understand? I mean, and that's open up a next kind of worms. Then you got mental health, you got all these other things. One problem is making another problem, another sector always worse. And we got to get out of that culture. So before we make a decision, it's like, okay, you're trying to fix this. How it happened in the past, let's make sure that happen again. But what this decision you're making in this sector going to affect this sector? Because, for example, let me show you an example. In 1996, there was a study done that concluded St. Martin has a gambling problem.
Mm-hmm.
In St. Martin in its totality, yeah, not particular people. St. Martin in its totality has a gambling problem.
We have about 500 casinos on a little island.
All right, we have 300 gambling spots, but half of them not registered. But we ain't getting into that. Okay, we have a gambling problem since 1996. Ever since then, only more and more gambling points came. And then we're not even talking the positioning because all of them are in lower income areas. So what you really do? Now, what that gambling addiction is also caused by stress and trauma. So when you have things like a pandemic, when you have things like a Irma, that brings stress. That helps. That raises the stress level where a lot of people who have that weakness towards the gambling goes more towards the gambling. Now, when you come in with all these hikes in cost of living, this, that, you bring in more stress to these people. So what's going to happen? They're going to go more and do more gambling. How is that helping? And then you put $1 in the pocket, but they're spending $100 more.
Yeah.
Because they got spending cost of living and the gambling addiction.
Yep.
So now by the decisions you making here for most likely good reason, personally, causing a whole other effect in another sector on our island. And people not seeing the little roya drat, the connection between the silver lining. A small decision in this can cause a trickle effect that also affects something else.
Yeah.
And these questions, and NA, for example, never had labor. They never did labor in a sense of had that ministry,
Mm-hmm.
But yet, when people looks at what's going on outside in the labor and the this and the that, they quick to point the finger and say, "Hey, it's all you because I is a bigger party," and they never had labor, never, ever, ever, ever. You understand? So when people voting, people need to realize and look at the historical side of certain decisions. Also, when you're voting for somebody new, you need to look at not just the ideas this person brings, but the type of person the person is as well.
Yep.
And actually, the realistic aspects of that person actually being elected. Because if you come with a brand new party, historically seen, these brand new parties just only get a certain amount of seats.
Yeah.
You understand? And if this number 15 on your list, talking about this and that, what's the chance of that person actually getting elected?
Number 15.
You have the lynch law, so it doesn't matter with votes, the most votes counts. If you have heavy hitters on the top and you're number 15 and your party only destined to get 1 or 2 seats, how you getting elected?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these votes are lost, because you're voting for people that are there to push a list.
Mm-hmm. Fillers.
The fillers. Nothing against them, Nothing. But you have to be realistic in how you place your vote, where you're placing your vote, and actually placing a vote for the person to do something or the person's party to do something.
And not for a fridge.
So if you're voting for the person's party, whatever, vote. If you're voting for that person, you also have to look at the chance of that person actually being elected. Aside from the character, aside from the ideas, aside from the realistic part of things, when it comes to his or her ideas, and also that person's position in the sense of stability.
Mm-hmm.
These are all aspects you need to look at before you place your vote. So whether you vote for me or you don't vote for me, look at these aspects, please, voters, before you vote for whoever you're going to vote for. That's all I got to say. And if you're voting for a party, you're looking at different aspects than when you're voting for a person.
The people them curious to know what number your jersey can have on it.
Nah, that's not what I said. Let me tell you something. This question needs to be a little bit more clear. This person asks, I'm curious, what's your number?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Stop setting up the man on the live, dog.
Ask me. I know it, but I can't say it till after Wednesday. It's a nice number.
Okay, cool. So we will then you have, okay, well, you ain't gonna know until when. Well, you know already, but
I know already, but I can't say until Wednesday.
Are you gonna have a digital something? Are you gonna have a digital something on Wednesday with it, like with you and the number?
No, but if the people follow my page, not my personal Facebook, but my campaign's Facebook page.
Yeah.
If they follow it on Wednesday, latest Thursday, it will be publicized and announced on my end. I don't know
on your end. Yeah,
on my end. And just know I ain't there to push no list.
Well, Kana wasn't here, but Kana in here. But some of the
questions. How he
doing?
He good, man. He good. He holding it down, man. Doing his thing. He doing his thing.
Yeah, shout out Kana.
Big up yourself. Big up yourself, young man.
And for everybody who missed Kana and glad that Daryl is there taking his place temporarily, please don't forget like, subscribe, and share to YouTube. This will greatly help us. I see we have a decent amount of likes. It's okay, but
this is politics. This is politics with the Rasta men them today.
It's politics with the fellows. Politics with the fellows. Exactly. So now he had something he says that it's been a year since you've been back. Was St. Martin so bad that you decided to say, fuck it, I'm going to run for politics?
No.
Especially working closer with government. I heard the interview with Mikey, but that was media trained. I want a real answer. And he spelled answer ANS. He seriously said you want a real answer.
Answer. He want the answer.
Media trained. So let me understand. What's the question exactly?
Was St. Martin so bad that you decided to say, fuck it, I'm going to run for politics?
And every radio interview I've done up to now, I've always stated the same thing. St. Martin is not bad because anybody know me growing up. I've traveled. I used to travel with my mom. I've seen, with the exception of maybe 2 islands, I've seen the whole Caribbean. We all of us went Europe, study, etc. Blah blah blah. So I have a fair opinion when it comes to relevancy of how things are being done on different islands when it comes to aesthetics. St. Martin, that's why I always say St. Martin. On contrary to what we think on St. Martin is not doing bad. I believe and that's what we said at the beginning on this whole session we're having here.
I call me.
I just lose my train of thought. At the beginning of the whole session, we said we are very critical of St. Martin because we feel St. Martin should be on a higher level than what it is. That doesn't mean St. Martin is bad. It's our high expectations, which are good. So when I came back, no, I didn't look at St. Martin as, oh shit, St. Martin looking terrible. It needs to be saved. On the contrary, I look at St. Martin as a place that has a lot of potential that hasn't been touched yet, or on the verge of being touched. And the coming 4 years are very crucial because no party, contrary to what everyone would tell you, no party's first tenure, you really see what the party really wants to do. In the first tenure, you have to do your paperwork. You got to build stuff behind the scenes to be able to execute it. A simple thing takes 1.5 to 2 years to execute it. And especially walking in and you had COVID and you had all these things, the current tenure was not really solely focused on progressing. It was building back up and maintaining. Stepping into the second tenure, and a lot of things now, you see the capital expenditure coming. A lot of things coming out when it comes to funds and finances are moving forward. St. Martin is in a better spot financially to get things done. I find it's a crucial time in getting the right people in there to make sure that the things that get done are getting done the right way and with the proper ideology in mind, like what we were talking, forward thinking long term, those
longevity,
efficiency, sustainability, accountability, and transparency. It's very crucial in the coming 4 years. And the reason why you keep seeing even though I don't totally agree with it, but I understand why, pushing the fact of having a stable government. Any new party goes in there, the same thing happens as it always did. They would shout everything and start brand new again. What happens? You push the whole island back 4 years.
Yeah.
Because no new government is going to go in and execute the good ideas from the past government that they laid to be executed. So what you do, because you want everything to come out of yourself, your government, your party, your whatever, because people always say after election they stop thinking in colors, but they still do. You automatically second back the country another 4 years. You understand? So the reason why is not because I feel St. Martin is in a deplorable state. I find St. Martin is in an opportune state to take advantage of the potential that it has. And I feel it needs to go the right way.
Okay.
A lot of times it's not what you do, but how you do it.
Yeah, most important.
Facts. That's big facts. That's big facts. Ghana, put it on a shot.
But yeah,
that's big facts.
Mikey said, I take courage to run, and I agree. With all the slander that you're already going on social media, what makes you think you could withstand the popularity bullshit and actually do for the people?
Slander and stuff. One thing. If anybody knows me, knows I don't do the media training type thing. If you know me, you know when you listen to the interviews, that's Daryl there. For one, that's no media training. The answers you hear was not media training. That's one. That's a disclaimer. Second, when it comes to this, also a question I got, because the type of person I am, the ideas I have, it would be much easier to run an opposition party. Much easier, and actually campaigning is much easier when you're campaigning on a party that's not in government. It's easy to throw stones. It's very easy to throw stones. You understand? That would have been the easy route, and it was also an option, but that's not how I'm put together. So the easy road in now is the best road, and particularly when it comes to slander and all type of things, I tend to look at what I'm doing and what's going on in someone else's professional or personal life. That's not my business. So, like I said, I'm about honesty, accountability, transparency, and I will be bringing that to the arena. If it's not there yet, or people feel it's not on the right level where it should be, that's what is coming once elected. So what's going on when it comes to slander? You know, I am not the judge, not the jury, and I just mind my business, and I focus on what I bring.
Minding your business is something that's very foreign to a lot of people apparently.
Yeah, because look, you can have an opinion, but I wasn't there. I ain't there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a parliamentarian there that didn't ask the question that now everything coming up. No, is what I'm bringing to the arena.
Facts. You said a party with you said a party with expertise, but does DP end up by now? I don't know. So
Second,
still, what? Oh yeah, but, yeah, and it has expertise, but so does DP and up. So why still National Alliance? What examples you have of them making an unpopular decision that made you think that they were the right party?
for one, everybody looking at all these, for example, the building permit is not being executed, right? Right now, you're putting a building permit, it takes forever.
Yeah.
Nobody looked at the fact that the new building code helps expedite the process. But that building code wasn't a today for tomorrow thing. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't realize, like I said, the whole capex was not. So you could have go out and you could have spent all the money you have today and put on a road. But if you didn't focus on the capex, you wouldn't be able to do the type of project you'll be able to do starting next year. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of things done that without the proper legislation and the proper paperwork being held, like for example, justice, you have the function book being done. But I'm sure people that are much rather a new jail. A new jail is tangible, but a new function book actually helps more people. So the focus could have been put in much more shinier results, but it was put more where paperwork is concerned, this round. And you could say the DP, the this, the that, but if you look at the boardwalk, I had my opinions about the boardwalk as earlier in the thing. We look at Raul Village, we look at there's a beautification project in town. Those were all DP. Yeah? So if my ideology of forward thinking long term, this, that, and the other, yeah, I'm ideological. I'm not a fit there. You know what I mean? The up, it's just not a good. It's not a good fit for me. I just leave it at that. I don't want to delve into that too much. But that's just not a fit. My character don't fit there. You know, to each their own. My character just don't fit there. I just leave it at that. So yeah, pertaining to the question for those two aspects, yeah. And basically up is a DP 2.0. Okay, derived out of DP, yeah? URSM derived out of up. So all these parties, majority of them all come from one tree. So the reason why you don't go on one would be the same reason you don't go on the others too. So people vote for the new party, but people don't realize where it comes from. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the reason why. So automatically other parties were eliminated from my my point of view.
Okay. Again, this is another question from Kana. Kana is very much present.
Yeah.
Bless up, Kana.
Bless up yourself, boy. What makes you feel you can get us out this circle of what we do, what we always been doing? The young people came and gave us the same promises and look like they're doing the same thing as their predecessors. What makes you different?
Good question. Again, this delves back to look at what you're voting for, who you're voting for, and their everything about them. I just name out 4 or 5 aspects, right? I'm of the belief that in my current state of life, I will do, like other people will say, on all those aspects. And, you know, again, I said NA for the particular reason of learning how to do something, but also learning how not to do something. You know, you don't sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you see somebody do something and that didn't go good, that ain't something to do either. If you see somebody that do something and it went good, you can learn from it. But yeah, and every decision, whether it goes good or bad, is a learning opportunity as well. So when it comes to what I'm bringing, I'm not sitting on here, and I would hope people would hear it, feel it. I'm not here sitting down making promises to, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do the other, we're gonna do that. That's not what my campaign is about. My campaign is looking at the realistic side of things, what's realistically the problem, and how we can realistically fix it, but with long term in mind. And it's not the shiny stuff, but once people take the time to understand what I'm saying, it would actually, hopefully, it would hit home.
Okay, so to sum it up from your perspective, what do you think is St. Martin's biggest challenge in moving forward?
Well, it's always finances, but I'm not the type of person to look at the problem. It's more of solutions. So basically, you have the finances. What you have is how you spend it. And if you look at the main obstacles moving forward, it would be getting tourism back to St. Martin being at the top of the Caribbean again, which right now we're not. Also realizing different manners in which St. Martin could make money off of St. Martin. Treating St. Martin more as a business. So, for example, if I was to ask you guys outside of tourism, what's one of the main sectors where St. Martin either can or is make the most money right now?
No idea. No idea. That's no idea.
You ever thought on real estate?
Real estate.
A lot of people actually coming down from away to do that since COVID. Actually, a lot of people come down.
Real estate is a booming business, and with real estate comes another business called construction, because the two go hand in hand.
Yeah,
you understand. And right now that's such a booming market, but the question is, am I making any money off of that market?
No, I don't see that. No.
Are we, the locals, making money off of these markets? We spending money in them, but we making money from it.
I was just going to say, because from what I understand, there's a theory going around that because of how real estate is, real estate could somehow be loosely tied to why St. Martin is so expensive to live in.
Let me break it down. Let me break something down to you. And this is not by no means the answer to it all, but it's an aspect. Okay, right now, rental housing is crazy, right? To rent a house, you can't have a regular 2-3 bedroom house and be the chances of you being the sole the only money making in the house is very low. You know what I mean? You can't really survive off the type of rent that people are asking for nowadays. Okay, but you also can't walk into a bank and get a loan, right? A mortgage. You could get a loan for a car, but can you get a mortgage easy?
No.
Okay. Normally, how it goes in a normal line of things, you live in your parents' house, reach a certain age, you grow up, you get a starter's house, basically, a 1-bedroom, a studio, something. Eventually, you outgrow that, you get your family home, you get a bigger apartment, and from there you go and you buy your dream house, or you build your dream house, or whatever it may be. You have a natural flow of things. So basically, the starter house you had, the one-bedroom studio house that became available for someone else. The 2-bedroom rental that you had for a good price became available for somebody else at a certain point. Right now, because things are so how it is, that organic movement doesn't happen. So what happens, because no one can't really qualify to buy land or to buy a house or to build a house, the rental sector becomes overly saturated. And with more demand happens what happens, Lumber?
More demand and the price going to go up.
The price will go up. So now, instead of saying you're going to build more, say you're just going to build more houses, you have to make it more accessible, make it more easier for people to qualify for a loan. Because it's impossible. I can pay half of my salary, for example. Let's say I'm a random person, I'm paying $1,000 a month for my rent. when I go for $1,000 a month mortgage, I can't qualify. And then there's times where people go and they qualify for the mortgage, but they don't they don't qualify at the same time because they can't pay the down payment or the transfer fees, all these other fees that come with it. They don't have the money at 20,000, 30,000. They don't have that sometimes. Why don't we look at ways to eliminate or to lessen that part where people could qualify more and faster for a mortgage to where it's less saturated in the rental sector to where the prices actually drop? Because now rental sector, you're not looking at, if I'm a landlord, I don't look at the person next to me who's a landlord as competition. I look at him as a way to jack up my price. It should be the other way around. So when you're looking at these type of things and you say, hey, cost of living high, or you say, hey, the construction, the real estate doesn't work in our favor. When you look back at it, when I said knowledge goes a long way, people from out of St. Martin come to St. Martin and they say St. Martin is for sale. So they're buying all these properties, all these land, especially the land. Are they buying from foreigners? Or are they buying from locals?
They're buying from us.
Okay, they're buying from us. Most of the time, they're buying from a person that hurting at that moment in time. They sell it on the cheap.
Yep.
Okay, or they sell it because they want quick money.
Yep.
And then 5 years later, maybe 2 years later, when the money done, and that local going to the bank to get a loan, they don't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens now? You're gone from having collateral that you could get the loan you wanted to selling it for the fast money because you didn't know what you could do with it.
Yeah.
Always saying, hey, in the sense of clearing up the yellow tape. Anybody, I'm sure a couple people in this chat has dealt with it before. Dealing with succession land, getting it actually in your name. It's a long process.
Yeah.
Why do you think they have so many residential properties untouched since Irma? Because people can't get a building permit to fix it or to do anything to it because it's succession.
Yep.
And this is what I mean by before you bring in more legislation, clean up the legislation that you have. Because now, if this person could finally get their great grandparents' property that gone for so long in their name, they could actually have a home or fix it or actually use it as collateral to actually build their own home or buy their own home. A lot of things are stemming people from actually making progress in life. So I'm of the opinion that before you go and look at the fancy things, the shiny things, and say, oh, we're going to build 20 new condos for social or whatever. Look at the legislation that you have, reevaluate it, clear it up, make it more accessible and easier for the people, and then come with the shiny stuff.
Yep.
Because again, once you fix this problem in one sector, it has a trickle effect positively in other sectors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing leads to 3-4 things happening.
Yep. Yep.
And all of this starts by asking the proper questions in Parliament.
Yeah, you have to ask the right questions. You must.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, St. Martin people are very confident in the knowledge that they don't have.
You can't blame somebody for not knowing what they don't know.
Yeah.
And the goal is not to sit down and educate everybody, yeah. But if we at a bar and we sit down, remember, when you're on the block sitting down talking, it's a difference between 10 people talking that don't know what they're talking about, and 8 or 7 people talking that don't know what they're talking about, and having that 2 or 3 people that actually know a little something because they happen to see a campaign somewhere that they was approached and they was explained, they following the right channels and the right information on these channels to be educated. Now those two or 3 could, maybe they ain't gonna get the rest 7 or 8, but they're gonna get a few more.
Yeah.
And it's a rolling process. It's a rolling process. So right now, I feel if I'm a minister and I'm a ministry and my ministry is not giving out any information education-wise, then I don't feel I'm doing I don't feel that person is doing a good job. Because you go whatever project, if the people are not educated, they could have their opinions can go all ways, and they can still go all ways, but it's always with an uneducated opinion to have an educated opinion.
Yeah.
Because even lately, even though I don't agree with it, but the Minister of Health has been on a campaign explaining this new insurance package. Okay, you could think what you want about it, but at least he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an opinion, it's based on the proper information.
Yeah.
And that should be more of a culture. The same thing with the finance department. They came out, they had their own little campaign when it comes to educating the people. This should be a regular thing.
Yeah, to inform everybody.
Inform everybody, so now they could hold you accountable the same way the people in parliament can. And if the people in
Yeah,
parliament don't do it, the people have enough knowledge to hold those people in parliament accountable. It's a trickle down effect, because who's the bosses of the people in parliament? The people.
yeah. We the bosses.
You understand? But if I'm part, who are part of the people, don't know nothing about what's going on in their decisions that's being made, how I gonna hold you accountable now? Is whatever you tell me now.
Yeah,
That's why they could fool send people a disillusion by making all these policies, but policies based on nothing. Because
Yeah,
you can still do what you want.
yeah,
yeah,
because the people are the onlookers, basically the citizens. They don't know how to measure the value of the actions of the person that's doing something. They just see the
Because
person.
they're not informed on what's going on.
Yeah,
And again, everyone doesn't need to be informed, but it needs to be, the level of information should be higher than what it is now.
yeah, yeah.
Because if people start asking more questions and people haven't start to have, and it's already happening now. People have a, like I said, people have the expectation of what they want for the island has risen from what it used to be. You know, right now to say we got 2, 3 boats in the harbor, we're not happy with it. We want 8, 9, 10 boats in the harbor. That already is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, but now aside from being educated on, hey, we want 10, what does it take to actually get 10 compared to what's going on now? You know, that little bit of knowledge that you don't have could actually impact the next person that's saying they're running on tourism, and when they come talking nonsense to you, you could put them in the place.
So do you have more faith in the current generation? No, more faith in this current generation than the last of voters, of young voters. Let me put it that way.
It has nothing to do with faith, because right now the young generation are also feeling the pain of the old generation, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
now you're seeing people that vote twice in their life say, I done tired of it, because they see when their parents are voting that things didn't get done either in their eyes. So now it's them basing it, their opinion is not based off the 2 cycles they voted, but maybe their 2 and the 6 or the 4 they see from the parents before that as well. You know, so now where politics are concerned, the new generation are also experiencing the trauma from the past generation, to where the past generation only had their own trauma to deal with. So that's where you're getting the fact now people saying they ain't voting. They ain't based off the 1 or 2 times they vote. They basing it on their parents' days as well. Who their parents had to base it on? Only their own days. You know what I mean? So I think you have more people in this generation already feeling that they have an informed decision, opinion, to where if you look at it, you should only have base your opinion based on the times you voted. Your parents or the older generation voted the way they voted for different reasons to why we should be voting today. Back then it was for whichever color you be, whichever person you know. Right now it going more towards the more informed. The people that are voting are good. The percentage is much higher than how it used to be, voting on what you really bring to the table and what you say you're bringing to the table. But now the next step should be, okay, say you're going to do it, but how you want to do it, or basically who are you to do this? That should be the next step. But
Yeah, yeah. Question. Yeah.
with the sport part of your campaign,
What part of the
something you would
campaign?
like to see change.
What do you like to do to see change?
Well, growing up, I did, yeah, Lombano, I did competition taekwondo. So we used to travel, we used to have to train regularly, etc., etc. And I've seen the difference in sports, to where back then you didn't know where to go and what to do if you wanted to do something, to where now you have all these different clubs and federations. I mean, the other day the sports department came up with a list, and it was like 10 pages of different people doing different things where sports are concerned. Now that's night and day compared to when we were younger growing up, you know, night and day. But with that comes its own challenges, because now you got 50 chefs in one kitchen. So now, you know, it's like taking a picture. If you're taking a picture of 2 people, you tell them stand on a straight line. Within 2 seconds, they're in a straight line. If you got 20 people, you tell them stand on a straight line. Lincoln, as a photographer, you know, you got to go as a photographer. You got to put them to stand where you want to, because now that line ain't go as straight as you think initially if you leave it up to them. So it's that same thought process going into sports. You know, St. Martin is on a point now where we want to go to that next level of sports. Okay, we got sports now, but we want to go to the next level. Down that next level comes with structure. You need structure. So right now, a lot of people don't know we have a Olympic Federation. We have a sports department. We have an Olympic Federation. Then we have the various federations, and under the federations, you got various entities doing the sports. If that structure does not function, sports goes nowhere on the island. Aside from that, then you have the sports facilities. If you don't have the proper sports facilities, you can't, like they say, we should bring more regional things to St. Martin, to where St. Martin can actually host these things. Now, if you want to be official FIFA, for example, and you want to do more regional competition where soccer is concerned, they have the entity of CONCACAF. You need to, wherever you house in this thing needs to be up to standard, particular standard. So you just can't have a soccer field and say we have a soccer field, come. But to get to these standards, you need to have structure. So if money does come in, how is it divvied up? Right now, money goes to the Olympic Federation. What happens to this money, this 200,000 galas or dollars, whatever it may be? What happens to it every year? Nobody knows. But it go in there every year. You know what I mean? So until basically a board, how is a board in the sports world in the upper echelon? How does that come to pass? Did you know the federations didn't even know that they had a vote up to recently?
They have what?
That they have a vote. Only recently, in the last couple of weeks, they find this out.
That's crazy.
So what used to happen before people used to re-elect themselves? And this is why I come in with knowledge, because what's under you is not knowledgeable to what is not educated in what they have rights to. You can do what you want. You can do what you want, and nobody's there to hold you accountable because they don't know what they don't know. So where sports is concerned, bringing that structure, keeping that structure accountable, having that transparency, educating the people, and also in every move being made, you have to think on the future. So before you say you're gonna bring an Olympic pool, okay, what about the amenities around this pool? What about the gym that you want to train your athletes in? What about the bleachers that you want people to come and sit in? You know what I mean? So you could build a pool, and we got a pool, but if you don't have those other things, we have other problems in the future. You know what I mean? So having a proper plan, instead of doing 10 small things, save your money and just do one big thing, for example. So where we could get a new sports facility, or actually holding, getting things to the standard to where it needs to be able to house these regional things, these regional tournaments, to bring money to St. Martin as well. Sports tourism is a very underrated thing. And having a proper farm system to where we don't wait for the next big thing, like the talented Illis girl that's swimming. Nobody knew about. A lot of people didn't know about her before she blew up. You know, now she's from St. Martin, but how much was invested in her before she reached to that point she is right now? You know what I mean? So a proper file system to where every couple of years you shitting out high quality talent to be able to do these bigger sports. There's no farm system right now. If you go to 10 different basketball camps, they're all taught 10 different ways. You know what I mean? Some people different standards. Some people certified, some people not, but everybody feel they know best. You know, so these type of things, when it comes to structure, that is needed in the sport. So before you're thinking of the big stuff, you need to think on the small stuff. Bring the structure, and then the rest will come. And we were saying, we're thinking of bringing money to the island. Sports tourism is a very underrated thing. Do not underestimate what sport tourism brings.
I do remember there was a point where when I was playing volleyball, there was like a thing where we had, well, the main volleyball team wasn't part of it, but then there was a point where it was baseball, it was volleyball, it was track and field, and a bunch of different islands that come to St. Martin. Thing, dog, and it's just like, just imagine if we invested more in the hotels and the roads and the facilities. It could have been better hosted. It could have been a better outcome if we had did the work back then. And this was like 2007.
You know what's
Okay.
the main aspect of being judged for countries that say they want to host the Olympics? You know what's the main
What
criteria? Your
what is
infrastructure.
that? The
Yeah.
infrastructure?
Infrastructure is one of the main criteria in judging if you can host in your point system to host a Olympic. And we're not talking the same amount to hold Olympic, but I just saying bigger country, bigger entities, their criteria. We should look at that. What do we need? And on our smaller scale to be able to house bigger things. Infrastructure is very more. Lincoln just said without even knowing it. And he said infrastructure is a very, very underrated thing. You need the sports facilities. But next to that, you need your own athletes.
Yeah.
Is it possible that when we do hold a regional something, whether official or unofficial, see Martin winning none of these things?
Look, right?
They had a competition that I didn't even want to call the name, but it was a basketball competition that everybody went to look at. See man get embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we didn't get embarrassed because we didn't have the talent. No. We get embarrassed because there was no structure. How the team come to pass or whatever. No structure. Structure is the reason why we lose that tournament.
This man is bringing back.
What do you say?
This man just give me. I have PTSD though.
No, what it all comes back to structure, brother. We need to be able to depend on a certain level of athlete every year, every other year. And right now is a hit or miss. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. And then an athlete, like for example, the illest girl, up to the other day, she didn't even know the proper lines of how to get proper sponsorship on the island. How you can be on such a high level and not know that information? Not on her part, but she was not educated in it. And that by no means is her fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when it comes to sports needs structure. And structure is not saying everybody got to stand up in one line, but it goes from paperwork, goes straight out to execution.
And what about arts?
Arts, that's a nice one.
Yeah, right.
Right now, if you're an artist, for most people, if you want to make that your main source of income, everything is a hustle.
Mm.
If you don't hustle, you don't make no money.
Mm.
You know, you can't just say you're an artist and hold your 9 to 5 hours if you want to call it that way. You know? And okay, artistry is a hustle worldwide, but not like how it is in Simant. You know, so what you see, you have these very talented people doing their main talent as a side job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have these talented people making big murals, and you know, and basically when they put them on the Instagram page, they could compete with anyone. But basically, when you look at the things they're doing execution wise and their source of income, it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? So creating avenues to where talent, artistry can have a steady stream of income. Like for example, if you look at music in the States, you have the various sound scans and whatever. They make money off of their plays, right?
Yeah.
Are you know Friendside got that too?
I was told so, yes. I was told so.
Friendside has it. That side don't have it. But this is just an example, eh? So when it comes to, and again, artistry is just like sports, and you could see it as a sport as well. It depends how you look at it. You know, the proper investment and the proper farm system, the proper investment in these young, and in sports you call them athletes, or on the other side you call them artists, or young creatives, as you would say, is very crucial for the development of such a talented person.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that this talent. We all know in our own circles, talented people that you know could compete with anyone that just doing a 9 to 5 that can't even sustain themselves on their talent. So there's the lack of vision in that young creative sector that needs to be explored.
Yeah.
But what about the way? Because as me when I was in high school, I was dancing, and if I wanted to get some sort of a art scholarship or something to do, when it comes to being an athlete and being an artist, there was like a priority list that was implemented when you wanted to get that type of support
And
from
this is,
from
you know why, and you know why that wasn't on that list, because there's no vision for either of those two sectors. There's no there's no national vision. 'Cause we say St. Martin is a country, so there's no national vision for sports. There's no national vision for artistry. Without a vision, a dancer, I say it like this, would never reach on such a list for a government, for example, because they
Yeah.
already don't have no vision. So if you have no vision, you have no end goal. If you have no
Yeah.
end goal, you have no start point.
Yeah. And so they can't make it a priority.
They can't make it a priority. So how you want to that list, for example, that Lincoln alluded to just now, is a start point, right?
Yeah.
But without an end goal, you have no start point. So without a vision, you got no goal. And that's
Yep.
why I said proper structure, proper vision for both of those sectors.
Yep. Facts.
somebody saying that also creating a budget for when the students. I'm not budget is right.
And
Creating a budget for
and
students when they
sorry
come
to
back.
cut you off there. Sorry to cut you off there. When you do have people taking initiatives to have a vision or to foster a vision, is not being supported.
Sir,
So
that word.
that in itself, because Lincoln, as doing dancing, as doing sports, so you're a dancer, you was a part of volleyball, you experience both sides of people coming with great ideas, but not having the support to execute them. And you know why you didn't get the support? Or why those people didn't get the support? Because there was no vision to hang it on, to substantiate it. And the vision doesn't come from us, the people, the vision comes from higher. We give color to what the lines are. So when you come with an initiative and there's no vision, you can't hang the initiative on the vision. What are you gonna hang the initiative on? So like I said, the national vision for these both of these sectors are very important in order to get the support that is needed. And again, proper being educated in these things to be able to hold the people accountable that could make these decisions are very important. So your return on investment for your country is very high in these sectors. It's just not quantifiable. So right now, if you're in a ministry, for example, and I say if I'm in TIAT and I say I want to make a particular decision, and I say this going to bring such and such a revenue to the island, is going to carry it up by 5% or whatever percent. Okay, cool, green light, you get more money. But you think the Department of Culture or Education will go and say the same thing?
Mm-mm.
Now, the Department of Education is seen as investment ministry. So basically, they don't have to account for ROI, but the Department of Culture does.
Mm-hmm.
Department of Sports does.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can't calculate the ROI, they're not going to get the extra expenditure that they want.
Yeah.
So when I say in the beginning, we have to reevaluate how the apparatus is being run now to be able to bring the proper efficiency moving forward. Because bringing more money to St. Martin, they still gonna get a percentage they're getting, which is not much. It's still gonna be low. So how do you quantify culture? How do you quantify sports? It shouldn't be quantifiable to be able to get more expenditure. That needs to change.
That's a
And that's from the non-fancy inner workings of government that people don't see.
explain now. The
And that's
non-fancy in
a non-fancy thing. So basically, by saying, hey, what does a department need to show to be able to get more a higher budget? The things they need to do to be able to, or the things that needs to be done legislative wise to be able to get a particular department a higher budget. That doesn't get you no points on the road because people don't know what you're doing behind the scenes. So basically, you could work a whole year and a half to get that legislation pushed through, right? And then you're gonna push that through, and after a year, let's say a year and a half, 2 years, you do one legislation. And to people you're there for a whole 2 years, what you do? You only do one thing. You understand? But being knowledgeable in what it takes to get that one thing done, or what it takes to actually push an initiative from beginning to end, that in itself brings a different perspective. So what people do now, they will more jump on the fancy topics like criticizing a GB or criticizing airport or whatever. These fancy things are going to get people moving and sensationalized, and focus on the things that actually need to be focused on.
What's your opinion on GB though?
Right. Look, GB is a business, right? No, GB is a business, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who, if you're a CEO or you're a board or you're whatever of a business, what's your main objective?
Make money.
Okay. If you're not, and if the business not making no money, who fault it is?
Yours, actually.
Technically should be yours. You got to manage it.
All right. All right. So you already got my answer there already, right? Secondly, if something's going on, right? Like especially like when they had the whole hacking thing, you could sit down and cry about spilled milk and trying to retrieve whatever you want to retrieve. But each day and each month you retrieving what you can't retrieve is another day you're not getting what you're supposed to be getting.
Yep.
So basically, all the bills that's going on at that time moving forward, they wasn't focusing on those. They're so busy focusing on the backlog that the backlog just keep getting bigger, 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 bigger,
Yep.
and bigger.
Yep.
You understand? Instead of thinking in phases and you put in one team to focus on one thing and the next team to focus on that, so you could still keep the bar rolling. By the time they catch on to that, it was too far gone.
It was too far gone. It didn't make sense for them to do either one. Actually, they just had to pick one and they just push forward.
But let me ask you this: what is a big company like that doing with such a low level type of security, cyber security protection?
Somebody wasn't working.
What big company like that doing with things on hard drives?
I blame that on complacency, dog.
Yeah, but no, I don't only blame on complacency. I blame on accountability. What does a big company like that in 2023 don't even have the infrastructure in place to receive energy from a solar panel? Did you know that since 2014 they had a policy made with a 10-year vision for sustainable energy on island, where GB was a major component in that?
Nah.
I don't see nobody in parliament. I don't see nobody in parliament calling GB to the table and saying, "Hey, 8 years ago, this was the plan. Y'all sign off on it. And if I reevaluate the plan right now, y'all do nothing in this plan." I don't see that. I don't see that getting done.
Yeah.
I see a new plan being made though.
To do what?
No, a new plan of the old plan.
A new version of the old plan.
New stuff. Nobody reevaluating the old stuff. Everybody come with new stuff, which is great. But at what point anything getting evaluated? So 2022 or beginning of 2023, a brand new sustainable energy development plan was published. What happened to the one for 2014? So we start over again.
Smoke and mirrors by. Smoke and mirrors by. It's just true.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a show.
No, but you could call it whatever you want, call it, do whatever you want to do. But if you don't hold nobody accountable, I mean, the show just keeps getting bigger and bigger, ain't it?
Yeah, of course. You know, the few times too, sometimes when they try to hold these people accountable, these man they just show them like they're not going to listen to them. That you know, they have a lot of the man has displayed a lot of delinquent behavior for which I personally feel like I think there is some kind of action that could be taken, but nobody really taking it forward.
Yeah, there are two actions that can be taken.
You know,
so after election, colors should go out the door.
Yeah, because if I calling you to explain yourself and you showing me that you ain't coming, then cool, and don't go work tomorrow, neither stay home. You check, done with it, just stay home.
The island should be run as a business. More as a business. Let me put it that way. More as a business.
Especially in a sense that if you're not doing your job right, you should be fired.
Held accountable, and eventually, if nothing work, nothing change, then you're fired.
But you know, I can drop this for the people in the comment section. Again, I say it all the time. You know, I commend you for the patience that you're going to have and that you're going to practice going forward. You understand? I'm going to do that from now. I don't have it. And I couldn't do it. Not even if I tried, brother. So I
Ali,
would just tell you from now, bless up yourself, G. And much strength. I know you're strong, but much strength, dog. Much strength, dog.
I ain't gonna lie.
I don't have it, but
I had it in my head. I had it in my head. Like before I moved up here, I had it in my head. But then I was just like, nah, I don't know about that.
You know what role is uniquely what you guys uniquely qualify for with, even with that opinion that a lot of people
what's that?
don't do.
What's that?
All the people that you know that in the arena want to go in the arena accountable.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
No, don't say that. A lot of people don't do it.
For sure. Let's do it.
A lot of people don't do it. So even if you're not directly contributing, you can contribute.
Yeah.
Of course, any contribution is contribution in itself.
Yeah.
And
For
at the
sure.
end of the day, any decision that is made, a crucial point, a factor in that is community input.
Yes.
Proper collaboration, innovation. That
Yeah.
also doesn't, because when you elect somebody, right, you don't elect that person because that person have all the ideas. You elect that person to represent you. So
Yeah.
yes, that person will come with their own ideas, but they're not king tut. But what happens is a lot of people get elected and they go in saying people elect me because I have all the answers. No, they elect you because they want you to represent them. But
Mm-hmm.
part of representing is touching base with them too,
Yeah.
in whatever shape, form, or fashion.
And you have to do it regularly.
Regularly, or you got to find a way, to get it done. Everybody can't do the same way. What work with me, you ain't gonna work for another politician, for example.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, way to
You
gather
know,
that information.
once you have like evidence-based decisions that you could say, hey, I take this decision because of that. A lot of times we see politicians make decisions, opposition bring say no to certain things or say yes to certain things. So both sides of government, and we can't stick the finger on what really where to get this idea from.
Yeah.
Like what make you think? Like a lot of times you be like, well, what make them think that what we want?
It's true. Like who
Sometimes
the hell say that?
they be pushing for these things, and it's like, who is this? Who get him this idea? Who said this is what we want? This is like no, this ain't what we want. But it's too late because they done there.
Yeah.
But the whole ideology behind it, like we put them there to represent you, not talk for you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're representing someone, you got to touch base with them.
Yeah.
I can't. And if a politician gets 500 votes, I'm not saying they need to talk to all 500 people. Then. They don't need to keep base with all 500, but you need to keep base with somebody or with
Yeah.
some step.
Yeah.
You got to do more needs to get done. A lot of times people say right now politicians end up in a bubble.
Yeah.
And once you're in this bubble, you cannot speak for the people anymore because you don't know what the people feeling. You don't know. You don't know. So that's a very underrated part in this whole political arena. And that's why I say vote for who you're voting for, but just go down the proper criteria. If that criteria brings you to a different result, don't be scared to make that result, to make that decision. So if you're voting for somebody because you're voting for them's sake, and then you hear this other person talking sense, but you don't want to vote for them because he my boy, this one is my boy. Then you can't complain afterwards.
Yeah.
Either hold your boy accountable, or don't vote for your boy or your girl, whoever it is.
Whoever it is.
You understand? But don't keep doing the same old thing expecting to get a different result.
Yeah. That's madness.
The point of parliament and our electoral system is to get the best 15 people in. And that, those 15 are a group of 8, 9, 10 appoint our next 7 best people for execution part of things, which is ministries.
Yeah.
But you see now people just like get a bunch of votes and say, oh, I want to be minister. But you're elected to parliament. People want you to represent them there.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? So this whole how elections are decided thing is very people get disillusioned by it. 'Cause right
Yeah.
now when I campaign, people say, "But which ministry you want?" Hey, who talking ministry? I ain't getting elected based on a ministry. But who say I don't get that ministry? That's not how it works. My votes don't make me get that ministry.
Mm-hmm.
I could lobby for it. If I get it, I get it. But I can't promise you. Because they had a lot of politicians, and I don't want to call no name, but they had a politician in the past without telling people from Belvedere, I gonna get you to sell that government or sell you the house. I just need to get in this ministry to sell the government houses then now.
Mm.
Election done, they didn't get a ministry. How you want them to get to fulfill these promises? They got elected, but they didn't get a ministry.
Crazy.
So now how you want this person to fulfill the promises? They make the wrong promises.
Yeah.
And that's when the people who they make these promises to just get disillusioned and then demotivated because now somebody promised you something that they couldn't deliver. But because they know that's what you wanted and that's what you needed, they promise it to you.
Yeah.
Just to get your vote. And that's where, I feel people need to be more wary about this time around. Because if you're saying you want people to hold you for a fool, you gotta show the people that you ain't no fool neither.
Yeah, facts.
And not voting doesn't make you look smart.
No.
Keeping it real. People could think what they want about that statement. But not voting doesn't make you look smart.
That's real. That's real.
The
Just
people
really,
people just don't know where to place it now.
no, it's just like you really pay attention. You really pay attention. You go. Don't just go. That's the problem. Now. When people go to these rallies, people just go to one specific rally to hear one specific set of people because that's people that they don't decide front of order that they're going to support. They don't go to hear anybody else's perspective.
Lincoln, but just to show you, you don't start wrong already. You think anything of substance is being said by rallies?
No.
That's hype.
So whether you go to the one you like, the one you don't like, you could go to all the rallies. Nothing of substance will be shared at rallies. I gonna be participating. I can tell you, nothing of substance is going to be shared at rallies. Substance don't get the yells and the this and the that. What you need to do is put in the work and follow the people, follow the campaigns, different things. Go if they got a Instagram, Facebook page, follow it. If they're in your community, go to the meet and greets. Going to a meet and greet doesn't mean you're going to vote for the person. Going to the meet and greet is an early point to where you could grill the person, ask the person questions. Send them messages, hold them accountable before they go in office, before you vote for them. Do proper research. And that's the thing we don't do as a people. We don't do research. We just wait till last minute. They have who to throw it on, boy.
Yo, the issue a lot of people have to that is that for a long time they feel like voting is like choosing if you want to die by knife or by gun, dog. Because it don't matter which way they went with it, it still didn't go correct.
Well,
and that's a issue. That issue a lot of people fighting with internally because they like even if for example, even if me won, vote different and everybody else didn't vote different, we still in the shit.
It got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
We got to know as voters, even as a politician, a candidate, I'm still a voter. So I'm gonna say we got to realize that even if we decide to make a change in the way we do things, it's going to take a while before everybody think that same way. So even if I do it one time and the result don't come out the way it should come out, I cannot get demotivated because it's a process.
Yeah, no. That is fine, but for example, I was talking to this lady down the road self, right? And each time something happened after this whole 10-10-10 thing, each time she come and she vote different, she do this thing, she was consistent. It's a whole decade later. Now this thing will never happen. 1, 2, 3 thing happen today, tomorrow. We don't have the discussion where we establish like for any change to happen, it does not take a year and a half, 2 years for even the smallest thing to pop off. But it's just realistically for these people, time is short and the time running out on them real fast for any change to happen because the situation they may be living in or having to deal with can't wait for the change are going to come.
Let me ask you this. I agree with everything you just said. And yes, parallel to thinking long term, you got to, like I said, you got to fix the problem of today, but be able to deal with the problems of tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just go from one end to the next. You can't just say we're gonna focus on long term and forget today. I ain't say that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the same people who cannot afford to wait cannot afford to not vote neither. Because nothing going to change that.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly why they're indifferent. Because even though they cannot afford to not vote, when they vote, they can't afford for nothing to change for them neither.
But now, let me ask you this question. 'Cause I was in a particular district the other day, and the people said, yeah, when they come this time, they got to pay. Cool, cool, cool. That's a side of politics as well. Unfortunately, people just do it. Okay, but let me ask you this.
Wait. How you mean they gotta pay? I understand that part.
The vote,
Like,
but
they
the
gotta
vote
buy stuff?
buying, the vote buying.
Okay,
You know?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, they have the underworld part of things. They're cool. If you want to participate in the underworld part, right? If you want to say somebody got to pay you for their vote, but you hot in, so they give you a $300, $400, $200, whatever the going rate is right now. I don't. What does that person owe you after they pay you for a service?
But they don't owe you not one squint. And if you break down the 4 years times the 365, and then you divide, the $300 what they give you by that amount, it's cents to the dollar, dog. Fractions of a cent.
And that's why they would gladly give it to you.
Yeah, and that's what they think. That's what they think about you.
So that same person that was hurting in that moment, that take that $300, going to be hurting in 4 years too, and they can't hold nobody accountable because they were paid.
They're going to be hurting the next day, dog. That $300 ain't even gonna last. And I know forward thinking yourself.
And that's what people need to realize, And even if somebody come and they pay you, if you don't feel that person is the right person to represent you, don't vote for them. I can't stop nobody from doing the hustle now. Take your money. Yeah. But if you don't feel whoever you take money from, it's a big business now. Yeah, people go, everybody else taking this one money, taking that one money. Okay, cool, go make you do your business.
Yeah.
But vote, nobody knocking your hustle. If that's a culture, make use of it. But if you going to vote for somebody, you still have opportunity to vote for the person you think is going to do the right thing. Only you and God know when you go behind that curtain who you vote for.
Yeah.
You understand? Hold the people before you vote for them accountable for whatever come out of their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? Because if I see you every day struggling with a flat tire, I'm going to say some man should do what the tires are important. And you will be like, yes, right. Okay, you're gonna touch home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like for example, I saw I have infrastructure man. So I see somebody put out a big article. Yes. Done with the potholes. Basically, the whole article is about potholes. Whole article. Basically about the bad things and the potholes and this and that. So I'm like, okay. Now the people somebody who just bend their shock the other day in a pothole, that going to resonate with them.
Yeah.
Okay. But that person that's saying that thing about the potholes, what makes that person uniquely qualified to bring the change that's needed for these same potholes?
We don't even know.
And that person said, yes, the potholes need to be fixed, but they ain't telling you how they're going to fix it. But just because they hit a sensitive point, they win you over already.
Yeah.
So now you're going to vote for this person, the potholes still don't get fixed afterwards. Why? The person either didn't get elected, or the person got elected and they didn't even focus on the potholes because they didn't know nothing about it to begin with.
Yep, facts.
They just call something that they know going to touch base with you.
Yeah.
And these are the things people got to start feeling through and reading through. You got people who never been in the hood before that are showing up in the hoods then now.
All of a sudden.
You know what I mean?
That's wild. They brave now. They brave now. They brave now.
No, but they're showing up. They're showing up. But when election done, you think they'll show up again?
Nah.
But then you can't be vexed because they trick you once.
Yep.
You can't be vexed.
Yep.
You understand? So these are the type of things I'm saying that people need to be more wary of when it comes to casting the vote. So if the people who don't vote for me, just follow those steps, please. Wherever they land, they land. But hopefully they land on me.
Sure.
Hopefully they land on me.
Sure.
But if they don't land on me, as long as you go through the proper process, I happy to.
Yeah.
Well, this was was very informative.
Definitely.
I hope the people that was here pay heed and learn from the person himself that's actually going through this journey.
Yep.
And and those who in Holland and wish they was here to vote and can't vote, you uniquely qualified to do things too. Get people on board that can vote,
Yeah.
that do live here.
Send them this live. Send them the
Yeah.
Send
link.
them this live. If
And
they don't
why
want,
Send them the link.
if the live too long, you watch it already. You convince them.
Yeah.
Send them to my
Summarize it
Facebook
for them.
page.
Summarize
Yeah.
it for them.
this live, if you end up on this live, please like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, it's very
Check it.
crucial.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Share
Muy importante.
more.
Son. Mr. York, thank you very much for joining us and giving us the opportunity to ask the necessary questions to enlighten the people that's watching this
Yeah.
live show.
Thanks for inviting me. And typically, this is the conversation we used to have with the Black back in the days, anyway.
Yeah, we would
Yeah.
probably
True. But now
Same
it's on a
exact
higher
type of
level now.
conversation.
It's on a higher level now.
Same things.
Yeah, for sure. And I myself and I think I could speak for the fans as well. When I say, everybody appreciate the, the information, the knowledge, and the gems that you drop and things. So, we're gonna do this thing.
Yes, and just like our freeline said, I wish you much success in the journey that you're about to go on. Yeah, I know it's gonna be easy, but from before you decided you're going to take this journey that is not gonna be easy. So I'm more than
I didn't take the easiest route neither.
Yeah.
Doing things right is never the easiest, but
yeah, hardly ever easy. So without being said, I wish you the best of luck and a blessed journey on this one you're about to have there. Everybody, this was Drinks with the Fellas. I believe Lumba have some plugs that he want to show.
by just letting the people know one thing, we starting with Lumberman merchandise. We got tumblers.
Boom.
Put customize on the back. This is what the front looks like.
I feel that type of way, Lumber, because you just met me the other day and I asked you what's new. And you say same old shit. Right? And now 2 days later, in a weekend, but I know nothing get done during this weekend, you're coming with this new merchandise and all that type of thing. I don't appreciate this,
My apologies, sir. My apologies.
If you're saying your tired of politicians tricking you, then you shouldn't be tricking people neither.
I ain't trick nobody.
Tell me same old. And these are new merchandise you're seeing here.
Listen, this out for a month already. It wasn't finalized. It's only now I telling the people guys finalized. I get word back. You understand? I get word back. You check for now, we just got whites, but more colors gonna come soon.
What is the one for tea?
Hot or cold, it don't matter. So
you're looking good, man.
Doing this thing, trying to do this thing. Let me say it later.
Is that? Well, this was.
I waiting for the drink. I waiting on the drinks for the fellas merch too.
Yeah, we got
something pending by. We got some things
pending.
Waiting on
the final word on that one too. Then.
Yeah.
Everybody got to get their affairs straightened.
Yep.
Straightened, we coming hard with that.
All right, that's good.
Man. For sure.
So that said, people, thanks for joining. If y'all make it this far into the live, I really fuck with you. You understand? Thank y'all for joining. Y'all could have been anything. Y'all choose to be here with us. We can't stress enough how much we appreciate all the people that are here. But there's 50 or 5 people that's joining us in the live. Everybody in the comment section, shout out to you. Thank you all for the questions and participation. Stay blessed. See y'all in the next episode of Drinks with the Fellas.
Yes.
Peace.